to continue on and just kind of keep the tempo going in his favor.
Yeah, I like the position of Serral a lot. Shin hasn't even been able to take that natural expansion just yet. You know, he just has this expansion all the way over here at the 9 o'clock. It's a very tricky position to defend, even with speedlings, which are, you know, the fastest units in the game right here. And with +1 Carapace now done for Serral, I really like Serral's odds of trying to get some more damage done if that is the way he wants to go with this. So you see him sending a couple of links here into the main base, a couple of links into the second expansion. And he's trading those out quite well. 3 drones falling here for Shin. Serral, he's faster on the third base timing. He's faster taking up into the Roach Warren. He's already beginning +1 range weapons with Carapace fully researched before we have any upgrades coming out for Shin. So no matter which way you look at it, Serral's ahead right now.
Yeah, absolutely. He's winning in every regard. His third base is about to finish up soon as well. The Roach Warren's already finished and is making roaches, whereas Shin's is not even halfway done just yet. You can see the income advantage has been very good for Serral throughout this early game as well. So yeah, just great navigation from him in this wonky game. And for now, it looks like Shin is going to try to go ahead and pressure this third base. The Banelings are all just walking past each other, trying to get the best connections that they can. Both players being extremely patient with these Banelings until eventually they find what they want. Keeping those Zerglings as far away as possible. That was such a weird looking engagement. Nothing really happened, but looks like Shin's gonna walk away not really finding what he wanted.
Yeah, and I wonder where you go here as Shin. I think you just have to send it with roaches here on Hatch Tech. You know, you have no evolution chamber upgrades by now. He certainly knows. Oh, that was a huge Baneling hit, by the way, there for Shin, catching a lot of Serral's lings. You know that you're far behind versus the evolution timings of Serral. I don't think you can try and play a macro game out of this. I mean, we do have the evolution chamber now coming in here for Shin, but I think he needs to get damage done in the short term if he wants any chance to survive in the mid game versus Serral.
Yeah, you can see he's only sitting at 37 drones, so he's really just going hard into the army right now. Serral, on the other hand, did kind of cut a little bit. He went into a decent amount of drones. He's only just now started to get more of these roaches out as he starts to put the pieces together and realizing that he does need a few more units out on the field right now. He's also sending his lings around to try and distract and also get some more information, but the roaches from Shin are already at his front door. He needs to make this stand right now.
Yeah, Shin is starting to push into the third base here for Serral. The drones are getting pulled, but the Banelings are going to shoo them away back into the natural expansion, back into the mining line. And Shin getting a full surround on the roaches. Is this going to be enough to actually break the defenses of Serral?
Yeah, it's going to be really close. The reinforcements are going to be coming much faster, though, from Serral. He's doing a really good job of using those drones on the left-hand side to deal with some of the lings and reinforcements. And the roaches and queens over on the right-hand side able to help out with the reinforcements coming on in. And that +1/+1 really doing dividends here for Serral's army. And you can see Shin is just starting to peter out.
I mean, it was an excellent push, but just not able to get enough damage done. Serral had just enough to defend against it, and those 1-1 upgrades really pulled their weight at that fight in the third.
Yeah, the 1-1 was really helping a lot for Serral. It seemed like for a moment that Shin might be able to overwhelm just because he had such a larger army coming in as the surprising attack. But Serral just needed a couple moments just to kind of recoup, just needed to take those couple seconds, just move the drones around, make sure he gets all his reinforcements coming out, and then those +1/+1 upgrades really start to shine.
You know, Serral might have won that game number 1, but that was a really fun build that Shin deployed. I haven't actually seen a variant quite like that one, where you go for a pool like a 12 pool, and you go for the cancel on your opponent's hatchery, and then you hide your natural expansion, or your second base, I should say. It was a really smart move, because there was a moment where Serral was overreacting to it. He was going for the double spine crawler. He was, you know, he had to cancel the hatchery there, the natural expansion. It seemed like he was hunkering down, preparing for whatever the follow-up would have been, whether it's like speed and Banelings or something like that coming out from Shin. But Serral, he's just a little bit too smart. You know, he could tell, even if you're going for this, I would have seen at least the lings or the hatchery by now. You're clearly hiding an expansion. I mean, the pace at which Serral was able to identify that and start scouting for where the base is hidden was really impressive to me. He even had it in time to cancel the second spine crawler, which made a very big difference. I mean, 100 minerals in the spine crawler plus the drone in the early game, that's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Serral's ability to just identify exactly what's going on in seemingly every situation is what makes him such a high caliber player, and essentially the GOAT, as I will say, as Artosis is not here, so I will not be reprimanded for that. So that's Anyways, game number 2 is coming on in. It's going to be Eternity's Edge for this one, with Shin on the top left-hand side and Serral over on the bottom right.
And I wonder if we're going to have any more early pools coming in from these guys. It was the 12 pool there for Shin in game number 1.
It doesn't look like anything just quite yet, but I guess we could still see a 12 pool coming on out from either of them. But I feel like Serral overall is someone that, of course, likes to react. I think he's just really good at coming out with, just good reactions. Like we just saw that last game. He seems like he's just able to read no matter what happens. And I feel like there was a point in time as well in ZVZ like years ago where Serral was so famous for just always getting the scout off with lings in the middle of the map, in the middle of the game as well, just sending them to get the lair timings to see exactly what the drone counts were. And he was so good at getting all that information all the time. So I think those types of games are really where he shines, and I think he should definitely lean into that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I also think that it's probably the ideal way to play Zerg. If you're a player of Serral's caliber, why would you risk going for some kind of early pressure, which might just get blind countered, or if it gets scouted, suddenly your opponent can just concoct the answer to it, and then you're playing behind. If you can play like a superhuman like Serral, this is probably the way to do it, where you react to what your opponent's doing, you solve the puzzles that they are throwing at you, and you come out on top as a result. That's what Serral did in game number 1. Is Shin, he set up a pretty tricky play, hiding his first expansion, trying to feign a turbo all-in. But Serral was smart enough to actually devise a plan that could deal with it and identify the situation fast enough. And so Serral here in game number 2, he's continuing to play a little bit more conservative than his opponent. Shin went for the hatch first. For Serral, it's a pool first into the hatch and the gas. So a nice, safe, conservative opening here for our finish at Zerg.
Yeah, definitely. He's not like rushing out Zerglings or anything like this with this fast pool. Just trying to make sure he's got everything out at the nice timings. Getting the queens out a little bit earlier just in case that Shin might be trying to go for something aggressive again himself. And Serral will be feeling pretty good about the situation that he's got himself in. Sure, his hatchery is going to be a little bit later, but the pro players are not doing this in a... They're not like going to be behind because of this, obviously. They know how these early game interactions work. They know that, they'll cut certain things, but then get ahead in other ways as well. So Serral will be totally fine with this situation.
I wonder how different it actually is economically for both players, too. It's something I'd be more familiar with a 12-worker start.
Yeah.
Here in the 8-worker start, the math is a little bit different because Shin is getting more larva. The larva generation at hatcheries is faster now. And so Shin getting that hatchery done at the natural expansion faster, it's going to be a boost. But Serral, he's also getting the injects a lot faster going for the pool first opening. Sure. And so I'm curious exactly how this is going to line up. You see right now when the first inject pops, it's 6 drones being queued up here for Serral. It might not be too much of an investment here, or too much of a lack of investment here for Serral going for the pool first.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Shin also has made another hatchery at his natural. He's going for what looks like a style that Rogue was doing a lot, even in the pre-patch, where he was going for that hatchery at the front, and he was going for a fast Evo Chamber and Roach Warren, and then going to this fast 2-base lair style Roach speed, either all in or just a defensive play. And Serral also going for a fast lair himself, despite not going for the hatchery or the fast Roach Warren. So some interesting builds coming from both. Okay, there he does throw down those two eventually anyway. So just slightly different ways of getting to essentially the same spot. But you can see that Serral's really just kind of skyrocketed ahead in the economy. Shin has really cut some drones at this point in the game. Is he just going to be going for a straight 2-base Roach all-in off of 3 hatcheries?
He might. I'm not sure exactly what the plan is right now here for Shin. Yeah, okay, 7 Roaches get started. So he was pooling larva for a little while there. That's why we had such a significant dip in the drone count. And this is something that Rogue, as you mentioned, has been doing for quite a while in ZVZ, even pre-patch. He was going into this hatchery at the front, and typically you would see this like, oh, you're playing turbo defensive, or you're going to be doing a Ling-based style. It seems like you're telegraphing your opponent exactly what you're doing. Well, Rogue showed that you can actually play a variety of styles behind this forward hatchery, and so this might be catching Serral by surprise.
Yeah, well, that Overseer is going to see exactly what's happening. He sees all these Roaches walking across the map. So now Serral is fully aware of what exactly Shin is doing, needs to prepare back at home, fully walls off the natural, making sure that nothing can just walk right on in. Starts to get a couple Ravagers himself while just getting as many units out that he can. And right now, Shin is going to be trying to batter down this front door.
Yeah, Shin going to try and break through that first evolution chamber. It will fall. Roaches have to dodge back, though. The Bile's coming down. Roach is trying to get the connections right now on the Queen. Good micro coming in here by Serral. The transfuse on that Queen in the front, and it is just enough to defend. You know, Shin, he was down to 29 drones. He cut so much economy to try to make this push happen, but Serral's just defending this with flying colors.
Yeah, it feels like Serral didn't even do anything to be able to defend against this. He just made a bunch of units that he just kind of would have been making anyways because he was going for a 2-base build regardless. It wasn't like he was going for a very fast 3rd base, which maybe this type of build might have done a little bit better against because you can then at least cancel the 3rd base and then they're kind of stuck in this weird 2-base situation while you maybe take a 3rd yourself. But yeah, that was just a very clinical hold from Serral. It didn't feel like he was sweating whatsoever.
Yeah, that was just such an effective hold. I'm shocked. And behind it, too, I'm quite sure it got canceled. Serral was even building a 2nd Roach Warren at some point because he was expecting the Roach Warren at the front to be killed there by Shin. Yeah. And he knew that he needed to produce Roaches to defend if it was a very effective push. And so, in theory, Serral probably could have had even more units out. He could have had a couple of spines out if he needed, but in typical Serral fashion, just mustering the perfect amount of forces to defend. And Shin has to go back to the drawing board, and I'm not sure where you go from here. So much economy was sacrificed to go for that 29 drone Roach Ling push, and he has been able to close that gap with Serral now. But that's because Serral, it seems like, is charging up for an attack of his own.
Yeah, I do wonder if Shin should have made a little bit of effort to try and bypass the overlords in the middle of the map. There was actually, if he had stayed on the high ground and gone all the way around the blue sections of the map instead of the lower ground area, there was no vision on that side whatsoever. So there could have been more of a chance for a surprise attack. Of course, it does take longer to get there. So that's kind of the pro and con you have to weigh a little bit. But regardless, unable to get that surprise attack going very far. For now, Serral is going to be trying to pressure this 3rd base, and this is looking like it's got really little to defend it from Shin's side.
The 3rd hatchery just finished. There's been no production boon here for Shin just yet. Shin's going to try and push in, and Shin doesn't have roach speed just yet. +1 missile attacks also not finished. Serral with both of those upgrades just able to maneuver his army and dish out even more damage than his opponent. And Shin at this front line is really starting to thin out.
Yeah, this is a very one-sided engagement. Not even the reinforcement advantage is going to come to Shin's favor at this point, as Serral just has so many units streamlining across the map, and he's getting on top of absolutely everything. Shin is dipping so far down in supply. Gets one little Ravager for his troubles, but that is basically going to be that. It's going to be a Serral 2-0 start to this series. There it goes. Shin just giving it a couple extra seconds to meditate on that one. But yeah, Serral looked like he had absolutely no worries whatsoever that entire game.
I want to go back and watch that hold again at the natural expansion because it looked like it was going to be a really effective push coming out from Shin. You know, the build order, it seemed like it was pretty tight. He went hatch first, which on paper it should be a little bit more greedy than Serral. You know, Serral eventually was able to equalize the drone count, but going for the hatch first. Our observer Mapu pointed out there is this brief window where you actually do have more drones that are mining. So you are a little bit ahead economically. And I thought, okay, well, Shin, if you leverage that into some sort of all-in type push, surely he can get something done. But Serral just made it look so easy, Gemini. I am incredibly impressed.
I mean, that's just kind of what we expect when we see a Serral match. I feel like we're really expecting him to just come out with completely, mapped out builds, reactions, and just seeming like nothing can actually touch him. So this is par for the course, I would say, for this EVZ.
All right, folks, if you are enjoying the show, we invite you to join us on Patreon, patreon.com/RevivesC2. You can vote on the maps, you can get the replay packs, you can go vote on the players. I know that Gemini is very happy about this. His Trap got voted in this season.
Keep voting that guy in, everybody. Great job. States that he loved the maps, the maps we've been getting voted in. I love the players that have been getting voted in. You guys are extremely based. All Giga Chads, every single one of you.
Yeah, we really do appreciate the support. If you haven't been there, we do invite you to join us. And we're going to take a short break. When we come back, this best of 5 between Serral and Shin will continue. Welcome back, everybody. We are continuing on with this best of 5 between Serral and Shin. So far, Serral with a 2-0 lead in this series. I'm hoping Shin can pull it back, but Serral's defense has been looking so good, Gemini.
Yeah, this is what we've expected to see. Serral is just looking so strong in this matchup and against Shin in this particular match. So I am, of course, hoping that, like you said, Shin can maybe come back with some more competitive play. But for now, Serral is looking like he's going to ride this one, and you can see he even feels it as well. Feels like, I just want to get this one over with. Can we just get this game going and get this 3-0 out of here? Because that's looking like what it's going to be.
I mean, Cyril's just been on point both in game number 1 and game number 2. And I like the ideas that Shin has been playing with in both of the maps that have been played so far. The hidden base in game 1, going for the forward hatch, you know, walling in the natural expansion into a timing push in game number 2. These are very creative ideas, but nothing has really been able to rattle Cyril. Let's see if Shin can fight back here in game number 3, or if Cyril will confirm the 3-0 sweep.
Yeah, I wonder how much of this could come down to Shin just feeling like, I mean, just you can see by the way he plays, it feels like he doesn't think he can take Cyril in a normal game. It feels like he's trying to get under Cyril's skin a little bit, trying to trick him, just because he's, you know, such a well-rounded player and just someone that is so good in every point of every game that he plays. I feel like I still would like to see it if Shin could try to play kind of a normal macro game and just kind of see how that works against Cyril. Of course, now this is last life. It's a bit, it feels a bit predictable to do that almost, I would say. You know, you tried for 2 early builds, you tried for 2 early cheeky stuff, and then it doesn't really work out. So it's like, oh, well, okay, my cool stuff didn't work. I guess I'll just go back to macro. But that just kind of helps Cyril out as well, because he can probably assume that and just now go into super greed himself, something like that. So yeah, it would be cool to see Shin just try a normal game, but I feel like Cyril still kind of has the upper hand in that regard.
Yeah, it's one of the very tricky things about these Best of X series is if you go down a significant deficit like this, 2-0 in a Best of 5, you know, being down on 1 life, it eliminates a lot of possibilities for you. You know, Cyril, he's been playing defensive in game 1 and game 2. If he wanted to now, he could bust out 3 cheeses. He only needs 1 of them to work in these next 3 games. And so you have to be mindful of that is a possibility here as Shin. But also, you know, maybe you can beat Cyril in a macro game if you play one of your best macro games, but will you be able to do it 3 times in a row too? Yeah. It's a very difficult position to be in. And so I'm wondering what Shin is going to do moving forward. And the best players, by the way, even when they are down 0-2, they don't change the way they play at all. You know, they will still go for the cheese that they feel are best. They will still go for the macro play they feel are best. But yeah, I'm curious what the build is going to be here for Shin, because as you said early on, it's been, what, 12 pool hidden base in game 1. Game 2 was, I think, a 29 drone, Roachling timing attack. It's been very aggressive.
Yeah. For now, it looks like Shin did go for a slightly earlier pool, whereas Cyril, like I was saying, feeling pretty comfortable with the series at hand, is going for a very fast hatchery first. So going for that himself, as both players are gonna be getting their scouts off pretty late, of course, as they are cross spawns, but they will see the overlords at least in the middle of the map, so might be able to deduce exactly what's going on from that. So they will know exactly where they are spawning. But yeah, for now it seems like Cyril is just going to be sitting back for now. Of course, just getting a couple lings and getting his queens out, just going for the overall early game defense, whereas Shin also kind of doing the same thing, but just based off of the earlier pool. So it's nothing crazy from either player.
Yeah, not mirrored builds, but both of them playing quite conservatively here. Cyril should have a advantage in terms of Zerling speed timing of maybe 20 seconds or so here. We'll see if he's going to leverage that to try and get some pressure done on a potential third base here for Shin, or if he's just going to feel safe and macro up behind it.
Ooh, the fast Baneliness coming in from Cyril, though. I like that. Ling Bane Wars are my favorite thing to watch in the early game ZVZ, so I like that Cyril is putting this down nice and early, going off of the hatch first as well, maybe kind of showing Shin, like, hey, I'm trying to play a macro game right now with this early hatchery. I'm not trying to do anything cheeky, but then going for that fast Baneling Nest anyways could be quite strong. Whereas Shin, for now, not going for his own Baneling Nest, will just be going for the very fast Evo Chamber to get some upgrades.
Yeah, I was going to say, it could just be a safety Baneling Nest here for Cyril, because, you know, your Overlord Scout going cross-map like this, it gets there so late, right? It's really hard to confirm what kind of opening your opponent is going for. But for a safety Baneling Nest, it feels very quick, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
if it's
what
just my timing's being off here with the 8-worker start versus a 12-worker start in ZVZ. But it felt very fast, and in any case, Cyril behind it, he's just been doing nothing but droning. I think he might have made 1 pair of lings total, and he's gone for a very fast third base.
Yeah, it looks like it is going to just be that safety Baneling Nest. I was also kind of with you on that. It just felt very early for it to be a safety one that time. So the early economy changes are a little bit different for now. But yeah, one Zergling getting a massive scout. Look at all those Zerglings coming out from Shin. So Cyril, yet again, with that impeccable early game scouting, knows exactly what's happening right when it is coming out. Those Zerglings literally got scouted right as they spawned, essentially. So it's like perfect timing, perfect knowledge.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the RSL. I'm Tasteless, and I am finally back with you, State. How are you doing, man?
It's been a minute since we cast together here at the RSL, but I'm excited for it. We have some really good games lined up today, a TVZ and a ZVZ. Some players getting eliminated in the playoffs.
That's right. Today is going to be all about survival as we see who is going to be in those few remaining spots here in the RSL. We're getting closer and closer to the inevitable finals, which is going to be at BlizzCon.
Yeah,
so excited.
It's going to be a lot of fun as we take a look at the Season 6 schedule. We're about halfway through the season right now. We're live every Saturday and Sunday. You can check it out right here. And the Grand Finals, as Tasteless said, that's going to be live at BlizzCon September 13th. If there's a classic game stage, that's probably where it's going to be. Tasteless and Artosis going to be casting it. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, super excited for that. We're at the tail end of this portion of the tournament here. We are going to be back next weekend to close this whole thing out. But it's been an incredible run so far here at the RSL. And I got to say, it's a very different feeling RSL from the ones we've had before. If you are joining us, I know some people kind of tune in at later portions of the tournament when things are really heating up. That's where Atlantis is?
Huh. It's hour before.
What does GMT stand for?
London. Well, Greenwich Mean Time or something, isn't it?
Well, I feel like we just kind of doxed Atlantis here, giving away their time zone. That's kind of rough. We are starting an hour earlier, and we'll always be starting around this time here. It's just a little bit easier for everybody scheduling-wise. Shout-outs to Archon Studio. They are the makers of the StarCraft tabletop miniatures game, and we've got all their figurines down here. They are looking amazing. They are supporting the RSL. They came to us right when we announced that we were going to take on making this league, and they've been with us ever since, so we love them. You got to get their products.
Yeah, we love you guys, too. If you're not yet a Patreon supporter, we invite you to join us at patreon.com/ReviveSC2. There are all sorts of perks available, and you guys have been really especially awesome with the voting in perks. With the maps that you guys have been voting in, with the players you're voting in, it's been such a treat to have you guys along with us. And if you would like to support us, we would love to earn your support.
Yeah, we've also got merch. Check it out at tastelessthreads.com. There's a lot of great stuff there. We've got RSL stuff, esports stuff, RTS stuff, anything. We got something for everybody, I think. But definitely check that out. Patreon supporters do get a discount. Just another way to support our cause. I'm happy to say our YouTube has been steadily growing. I think we've gone up in the last couple months by about 50% or something like that in subscribers. Wow. We're going to continue to try to grow there. But, if you're already watching on YouTube, just leave a comment. All of that kind of helps us get out. The StarCraft YouTube universe is big. I mean, YouTube itself is just so big. There's, Yeah,
I feel like there's way more people that watch StarCraft 2 on YouTube than watch on Twitch or on any of these live streaming platforms. The audience there is huge. So if you click the like button, if you subscribe, turn on the notifications. I know it's kind of cliche, but it really does help to get the word out about the RSL. It's a great way to support us.
I hated it when I hear YouTubers say that. I'm like, why do they do that? And then when we started to run at YouTube, I'm like, oh, all right. Well,
it actually does make a difference.
So here's the story so far. On August 2nd, we're going to have Clem versus Cyril and Hero versus Rogue. But right now we're in August 1st. We're down here in the losers bracket. So we're going to have two players staying alive, moving a little bit further forward here, and the other two are going to be knocked out.
Yeah, God, it's hard to believe, honestly, it's already August in 2026. It feels like this year is so young, but RSL Season 6 happening. It's already August. We're only a couple months away from winter. So these players can potentially get eliminated here, too. Beyond versus Shin, Solar versus Lambo. These are players who rocked in the group stages. They advanced into the playoffs, but now they're fighting for survival here in the second or third day of the playoff stage.
Yeah. Yeah, it does feel like this year's been moving pretty fast. I guess part of it's that we've had the last 2 years of StarCraft, everything's been squished into the middle of the year. Hopefully we have more of a kind of spread out, evenly paced year here in 2027. So these are two players I am certainly familiar with, and I think they're fairly evenly matched. I think Shin might be a little bit stronger than Beyond right now, but I think if Beyond takes this, it's no shocker.
Yeah, with how many changes we've had to the balance recently, all these little knobs getting turned, it's hard to say who's going to be favored. In terms of raw skill, Beyond and Shin, for me, they're neck and neck. They have been neck and neck for years. It's one of the top Terran players in Korea and the world. Same with Shin, one of the best Zerg players in Korea and the world. So I have no idea who's going to take this first best of 5. But map number 1 is loading in. It's going to be Fear in Faith to start things out with a big yawn getting ready for the game. And who will be the first player eliminated from the playoff stage in RSL Season 6? We're about to find out.
We are in the best of 5 portion here of the tournament here, so we're going to get a nice series between these two players and see basically, how they're going to be approaching TVZ. I think you're totally right, State. You were saying earlier, like it's kind of up in the air who's better because we've had a lot of radical changes in the game, worker count, the very macro mechanics that kind of hold the whole game together have been adjusted and recalibrated. So, let's see, what they're going to be showing us here. But, as far as StarCraft 2 goes right now, there's a lot at stake. I mean, BlizzCon is going to be the biggest stage for StarCraft 2 for the whole year, right? We're not at EWC. There's been a couple of other major tournaments internationally, of course, but, I mean, BlizzCon is really, there is nothing bigger than BlizzCon, right? So a lot on the line here. I think whatever builds these guys have up their sleeve, they're going to be bringing the best ones out here to try to stay alive in advance.
Yeah, look at how quick this command center first comes down. 111 for Beyond. I still can't get over the 300 mineral command center change.
I know. It's a big one.
CC first was always so strong in TVZ. There was a GSL like 3 or 4 years ago we were casting where almost every TVZ, at least like half of them, was a CC first and like some kind of all-in play, whether it be on 2CC or on 3CC. It's always been a very potent build, but a lot of the economic changes that have been implemented as we reverted back to, I guess I should say, 8 workers as opposed to 6 workers. But as we dwindled the starting worker count, there have been a lot of tweaks to the economy, and Terran, it seemed like they were a little bit lackluster early on. Protoss, they get Chrono Boost, Zurich has increased larva generation.
Right.
So this is the latest change, a 300 mineral command center. I feel like we're going to see a lot of this today, and in TVZ in general in this tournament.
Well, it's hard to not, when you're in the lab, tweaking the builds, not look at that and go, okay, let's take that beaker.
Yeah.
Let's mess with these chemicals. Let's see what we can come up with here. And it's funny, I did see, I think I talked about this like 2 or 3 weeks ago, but some people were kind of like, that's not a big deal at all. And I'm like,
oh, it's huge.
No, it's huge because, that means you get your expansion up quicker. It starts quicker. It then therefore finishes quicker. Then the SCVs come out quicker. And all of that, it's a lot of the early game of StarCraft. It's kind of like you're a snowball going down a hill. You're trying to accumulate more and more snow on the ball and get bigger and bigger until eventually it's this giant boulder, right? And it's this avalanche, and that's all the accumulation of workers and trying to kind of accelerate this growth. So it's been interesting. I don't know if the adjustments and patches are going to slow down or not, but I do appreciate the attempt to kind of freshen things up. I think that is long-term going to be good for the game as long as they can kind of find the right beats to hit.
Oh, and Shin's going for a very fast Baneling Nest on just 2 hatcheries. With that Overlord, he spots the command center first. He knows exactly what kind of build order he's going up against, and this is just going to be a classic Ling Baneling flood into Beyond's natural expansion. And again, he's going for, I think, a 3 racks behind this. I believe that's a reactor and the 3rd barracks finishing up in Beyond's main base. So he's going to have a lot of military production. Stimpak is getting started. But will he actually have enough units in position to defend this all-in from Shin? It's only 22 drones.
Yeah. Well, this first of all has to do a lot of damage, or there's not going to be a lot of opportunities here for Shin later on. We got to watch where the Marines are. And I think most importantly, is this Wallen going to be dropped in time? Even if it's dropped, by the way, the Banelings might still just detonate on the reactor and get in that way.
Yeah, I'm not sure the ramp at the natural expansion will be done in time. With the reactor and the supply depot here vulnerable in the main Wallen, I think that's going to be the target for Shin. But as Beyond, you have to be so careful with these Marines. Another depot's coming in, that wall off. Not done just yet, and the Lings are flooding. It is so many Zerglings. They're going to go for the surround on the Marines here on the ramp.
Yeah, and he's going to kill every single Marine over there. Now he's got to make an opening to get the Banelings inside. The SCVs can evacuate up the little avenue over there, but the Lings are going to come in regardless. I think this game may be over.
Oh, SCVs, they cannot get in front to body block for these Marines, so a lot of DPS being lost here for Beyond. More Marines are rallying out of the barracks, but it just feels like there isn't enough. Beyond down to 17 SCVs. Lings trying to keep the gates open, trying to take down that next supply depot. It's going to be too much. GG, Shin takes game 1.
Yeah, nicely done. It was, first of all, Beyond completely not prepared for that. I feel like those kind of openings, by the way, they're they're going to be the strongest at like time periods like this for StarCraft 2, while things are still very fresh. But it looks like what Bjorn was doing, like unless you're able to scout that early, you probably can't get away with that. You were saying command center first, opening.
I think if Bjorn had the wall in of the natural expansion, obviously it's going to get taken out pretty quickly there by the Lings. It's unlikely, even if you go in for a faster wall into the natural, that every building will be done. So eventually the Lings and Banelings are going to take down, whether it's a supply depot or a bunker that's under construction, and then flood in. But critically, I think if Bjorn had just a couple more seconds, that group of Marines at the ramp, they would not have gotten taken out. The SCVs could actually body block for them, and maybe Bjorn is able to stabilize and play out the rest of the game, but instead just Shin hitting right before that wall is complete. He gets the flood in. Basically, everything is severed there for Bjorn. You lose the Marines, you lose the entire firepower that's going to be anchoring your position.
Yeah. No, it seemed like a very naked expand. It wasn't safe at all. It didn't really show a lot of respect to what Zerg could get away with, and Shin goes in and punishes. So we're going to go to Ruby Rock now here for map number 2, and hopefully have maybe a little bit of a longer, more back-and-forth game here between Shin and Bjorn.
All right, game number 2 loaded in on Ruby Rock. Shin leading this best of 5 with a very fast game 1 win. And will Bjorn go back into a CC first here in game number 2? Will he play a little bit more conservatively? Remains to be seen, but I bet you Shin has a lot more tricks up his sleeve if Bjorn wants to dish out a couple more CC first builds in this best of 5 series. It's not going to come as a surprise to Shin at all. I'm sure this is just the rage on the ladder right now.
And we are going to have the startings of a wall in here on the low ground. I wouldn't be shocked if Bjorn went for the double racks on the low ground here. Something he's been very known for. Yeah, I mean, let's see what he's got here. I don't even know that what Shin did in that last game was, like, premeditated, pre-planned. I think he might have just looked at that and went, oh, okay, well, I think I can just kill this with a Baneling bust.
I think Shin probably has a couple of different responses up his sleeve to deal with the CC first opening. It's such a popular build in the meta right now, and obviously, I mean, like, the mineral cost of command centers, it's down 100 minerals. It's only 300. You're going to be seeing a lot of CC first play at this top level, and so Shin, he was able to show like a Baneling bust in game number 1. Now we're not getting a CC first here in game number 2, but it's likely we'll see it later on in the series, and I wouldn't be surprised if Shin also had some other kind of timing, like a taxi with queens dropping in the base, or Lings flooding in through overlords, maybe roaches and ravagers. There's a lot of different ways you can try and knock a Terran out early. Yeah,
it is a little bit stronger on if you're on the right side of the map and down, because the add-ons are on the other side. That is something that, as much as, we talk about maps and the importance of it being symmetrical, because that's, how to make it perfectly balanced. Or like, what is it? What we used to call reverse symmetrical? What is it?
Asymmetric, or what do you mean reverse symmetric?
It was always Artosis that used
rotational symmetry.
Rotationally symmetric.
Okay,
yeah, exactly.
Like on a 3 or 4 player map.
Right, but yeah, I mean, the reality is, using infrastructure to wall is always a little bit stronger if you're on the right side of the map.
Yeah, those add-ons always being on the right side. It's a juicy target for Lings and Banelings to flood in, which was able to show there in game number 1. And here in game number 2, Bjorn going for a 2-rack Reaper on the low ground. This is a much more classic opening. Bjorn was actually the Terran player that popularized this build in the GSL, I want to say like 2 or 3 years ago now. And I remember in an interview after he advanced from whether it was a group stage or a playoff match, the interviewer asked Bjorn, like, hey, you're going for this 2-rack Reaper on the low ground a lot. A lot of other Terran players aren't doing this. Why are you the only player that's going for 2-rack Reaper? And Bjorn's like, you know what? It's a really good build. I think it's going to catch on, and it did. It became one of the most popular builds in TVZ. Oh, so we're barely going to survive here in the main base. Bjorn's so good with the control.
Yeah, we've got a Roach Warren, by the way, coming down here. That's before the 3rd hatchery. So, that's generally a nod towards some real aggression here. Is this just going to be like a really short series? It feels like it could be.
Yeah, it might, but I think Bjorn going 2-rack Reaper like this, he has a lot more staying power in the main base in the natural expansion, where he's going to be trying to, assert pressure, try and get some damage done.
Yeah, he just needs to not lose these Reapers.
Yeah, he needs to not lose them, but there's also a very good chance that if he tries to get the pressure done, he'll see no drones in the natural expansion. He might even get a scout off in the main base, but
yeah,
right now, Bjorn, he's showing a lot of respect to Shin. He knows that Zergling's speed is going to be finishing up, so the Reapers are going home. Bjorn has no idea that Shin is going for this push, and it's multiple command centers for Bjorn again. It's 3 CC.
Yeah, this actually could be bad. We're going to have an attack that's going to hit pretty hard. And, I mean, first of all, yeah, I mean, the barracks are going to be a little bit beefy. They can kind of hang on for a little bit. But, you know, the fact that 300 minerals was invested into the command center is pretty big. So, Beyond's going to take a lot of damage. He's going to have to be ready. But, you know, he does not have the Reapers here to try to counterattack. He's got them to defend. Reapers are not great for defending in a moment like this.
Yeah, Ravager's morphing in. Shin's been pushing. He is droning behind this, but up until now, it's only been 19 drones for Shin, so he needs to get a lot of damage done to equalize the position with a 3 command center Terran. Shin now coming in. The Bile's going to land on both the barracks and the supply depot here. SCV's getting pulled for repair.
Oh, I think if he just gets one more Bile off here, he'll pop this.
Yeah, being able to buy a little bit of time. Will it be enough, though? Banshee, it is halfway done. It kind of puts a timer. You can shift-click the Banshee on the Ravagers and on the Roaches. It applies a lot of damage, but you know, the Wallen is done, and that means no barracks production here for Beyond.
So why is he waiting with the Lings?
I'm not sure. Maybe he didn't want to show exactly how committed he was until now.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, the Lings, first of all, it takes a lot longer for the Banshee to do anything here. He could actually end up killing this command center. I can't believe Beyond didn't lift that off earlier.
I think he tried to, but there was an SCV queued up, so it just didn't lift.
Okay, well, this is going to go down if he gets one more round of Biles over here.
Only 90 HP. Oh, it dodges it. Oh, man, the command center dodging Biles better than Hero does Void Rays. It's impressive.
That was crazy. Okay, so the CC's going to live. But, you know, I think Shin's already played this really well. I mean, he basically started drones before the rush even started itself, so he knew exactly how much to invest to spike damage without overdoing out, without trying to do like a win more move, right? And so he's got a very healthy amount of drones. He started his lair. I'm sure a third hatchery is just around the corner here. And Beyond, you know, he got the Banshee out. He is getting another Banshee here. There's no cloak. If there was cloak, I missed it, but I don't think there was any cloak upgraded. And Stim starts again.
Yeah, Stim gets restarted here for Beyond. I'm just so impressed by the way that Shin has catapulted ahead with his economy. It was 19 drones when he started that push. He's all the way up to 48 drones to the 31 SCVs of Beyond now, who just reclaimed his natural expansion. Behind it, Shin, he took 3 more gases and went up to lair. It's going to be fast Spire, and it's going to be a lot of Mutalisks. I mean, the gas income here for Shin, even on just 2 bases, it's still very high.
Okay, the Banshees are going to come up now and try to pop this hatchery. I don't know, can the Queens cover this in time, or can the Banshees kind of shimmy around to the side?
It's going to be close.
Yeah, I think they can actually deny this.
Only 30 HP left. Shin is going to restart that hatchery. Spire halfway done now, and with no cloak, Beyond, he's on limited time if he's going to stick around with these Banshees in the natural expansion of Shin, because once those mutas pop, they will put a timer on this harassment. But for now, Beyond getting a lot of damage done. Cancels the third base, gets 3 drones. Now comes in and spots the Spire in the main.
Yeah, he's just going to continue to try to do whatever damage he can. The Spire's close to finishing here. The Banshees, I mean, you're trying to get any kind of value you can out of them at this point in time in the game, right? They don't have a whole lot of utility after the rush has been held. And, you know, they kind of get phased out as far as, you know, opportunities the further along the game goes, especially when Aspire's done. Terran's going to be moving out. Now, I don't know, in part because, you know, the patch changes. It's hard to kind of know where the tempo of the game should be here, but I'm curious to see how effective you can be with this. I guess this is about as safe as you can be as Terran with 2 medevacs here. You can basically pick up everything you have if it does get too dicey. But when enough Mutalisks are out, you can end up losing the medevacs. So Beyond's got to be very careful here. I think it's fair to say he is behind.
Yeah, Beyond took a lot of damage early on, but what a recovery job by him and those 3 command centers he's got. Waiting for 1-1 upgrades now to finish before committing onto this third base. Combat shield's only about 25% done as well. It looks like Beyond is actually starting to muster a pretty powerful force, but my worry is if Shin has just a minute or 2 more time to build up at home, Beyond's window to get damage done will close, and I think these mutas are going to successfully buy a lot of time for Shin.
Yeah, he can start to make threats over here on the map. Force out a stim there. Now the game, I mean, growth-wise, it's been a little bit slower. You know, we're still waiting for that 4th base to come down here for Zerg. The mutas are going to come around, trying to force out any stims you can here, and, you know, he's going to see that the army that was, little squad that was kind of pressuring that third base has been drawn all the way back here.
The Revolution Chamber coming in here for Shin. He's starting +1 Carapace. A lot of other upgrades coming in, such as Baneling Speed and Flyer Attack here for our Zerg player. With 1-1 done and Combat Shields finishing up for Beyond, this is a real power spike where he might try and leverage all these added upgrades to get some damage done, but I'm not sure the Marine count is really high enough for him to actually push across this map. You know, Beyond would love to attack in this moment, but the mutas are doing such a good job of containing him. He must respect the threat, even though it's just, what, like 8 or 9 mutas.
Yeah, no, he's got to stay back here and basically chase this out. And Terran's finally going to get that third base up here. We're also going to see the push come out. And I got to say, Beyond has got a pretty scary army here. This push could be enough to actually take Shin on.
Armory finishing up. So 2-2 going to be started here for Beyond in the short term, but I honestly think that Beyond is trying to get a lot done with this initial push. Shinny's been able to drone up to full 3-base saturation right now at 68 drones. No 4th base just yet, so no easy targets for Beyond to push into. If Beyond wants to commit, he has to go into the heart of Shin's base, as Shin launches a massive counterattack with Zerglings here at the 3rd, takes down the missile turret. That'll open up the avenue for some more harassment from these mutas later on in the game if it's not remade. And Shin continuing to buy time, continuing to posture himself around this push in the center. And again, with no 4th hatchery for Shin, there isn't an easy target for Beyond to push into.
Oh my god, the medevacs are kind of weirdly isolated from the rest of the army. They are. I mean, he does manage to kind of veer away and get somewhere safe. Some Banes are going to come over here and try to hit these SCVs. I think the Marines can get most of them. Oh!
2 Banelings rolling into the 3rd right now. Ah, the siege tank saving the day there at the 3rd base. Only 1 SCV falling. And this is kind of an awkward dance that's happening right now. The 3-base powering of Terran, I think, is just stronger than 3 bases from Zerg. Typically, they need to have more expansions than their Terran opponents to be on even footing. And so, beyond just keeping this presence on the map, it kind of has Shin locked up. But I must say, the muta count now building up to 15. Shin's getting a lot of value out of these units, with more Banelings streaming into the 3rd base. Beyond right now, he's focused on dealing with the mutas in the main. That's going to be a lot more SCVs falling.
Dude, tactically, Shin is just so good right now. He's going to be able to get these Mutalisks out. The 4th base is denied. Kind of surprised. We actually saw Shin go down there. Oh my god, the drone's actually alive, so he might be able to plant something down there later on. But the push might try to go a little bit further north, up into this oh-so-important 3rd base.
This is so many Lings and Banelings streaming in. The surround going to try and connect right there. Beyond does a really good job of shimmying the Marines into this little nook, trying to mitigate the damage, but it is an overwhelming victory for Shin south of that 3rd base. I mean, that was a ridiculous number of Lings.
Yeah, I don't think that Beyond was ready for what was coming. So now he's had 2 losses in the course of about a minute, right? I mean, he lost those workers, then he lost everything he came out with the push. That means Shin is probably going to have a 4th base up that can't really be contested. And Shin is beginning to catapult ahead in supply.
Yeah, and I feel like Beyond, after losing that army, you kind of lost all momentum that you were building up to try and get something done in the mid-game. I think the win condition for Beyond right now is to try and defend. If you're going to attack, it has to be a harassment-based attack. And try to max out, because then things are going to equalize. Once the supplies are maxed, once you both have, you know, a fully fleshed out army with upgrades, then Beyond will have chances. But right now he needs to survive. So he's building Thors defensively to try and zone away the mutas. He's getting Drilling Claws for his Widow Mines to add some much needed splash damage to deal with the Lings. Keep in mind, Widow Mines, they fire a lot faster on this patch than they did on previous patches, so they're going to be a little bit more effective versus those Lings than before. And I think Beyond just wisely trying to play a little bit more of a safe, conservative game right now.
Yeah, I like him hitting the command center, but the Thor is going to have the ability to basically push that back. So Shin is getting close to maxing out. Now, I don't know if Shin is going to be able to, like, attack in at any point. I think he might try to just explode on the map. It seems like Beyond is high enough in supply that, you know, there's not going to be that kind of opportunity to kind of come in and supply dump on your opponent and try to remax out.
Yeah, I'm not sure, because the setup for a really big economic boom for Shin right now just isn't there. The 4th base is very late. It is done now, and Shin is starting to gather from it. The 5th base also is very late, so Shin can't comfortably get up to a super high drone count where he can go for that kind of long-term macro play. But Beyond actually just going to force the issue right now way before max. He's pushing up into the triangle expansion, the 4th base of Shin, while Shin goes for another counterattack. So many Lings with +2 Carapace and soon to be +2 melee attack coming into the main base right now. And when Beyond's attention is split, Shin will try to defuse this push at the center of his base. And honestly, Beyond doing a great job getting damage control done here at the natural. He lost 20 SCVs, but Critically, the army at the front is still alive. The Widowmine's doing a great job of zoning away those Banelings. And Beyond's army supply is huge. 127 to the 80 of Shin, and now the Baneling's looking for the connections.
Oh, that wasn't quite synced up. The Mutas needed to get there as the Banelings were going to head. I guess it doesn't matter in the end here. The Mutas are going to chase this back. Medevac's full of Marines are going to come around here, but the Lings can come up from the bottom and connect with the Mutalisks. And this is going to be another huge loss here for Beyond. And I really do feel like the walls are starting to close in here for Beyond. I mean, he's not able to make any progress. We're seeing Shin reach into the top right and the bottom left.
Yeah, but I kind of like where Beyond is right now. Even though he took a lot of economic damage, his army supply is still a lot higher. Shin, his units are a little bit damaged. He lost a couple of them, and only just now is he able to remake the Baneling. So there is a window where Beyond can actually push in with some very low bio units. He takes down this base. The drones have to evacuate. They're going to go all the way down to the south side to try and saturate that 5th base. And Beyond with this last Hail Mary attack, SCV production has stopped. He's trying to push in and get damage done.
Okay, he's going to come down now. And I got to say, yeah, Shin is suddenly suffering a lot of losses back-to-back. I mean, I think being hit as your Baneling's morphing is about the worst thing that could happen in a game like this for Shin, right? He wasn't able to get that explosive damage, the splash damage, to really do anything to punish that there. So now Shin's going to be knocked down to 4 bases, where he was initially about to be on 6 and look unstoppable.
Yeah, and Beyond actually brought the main army back home to try and deal with that defense. I think maybe the main issue is he just didn't have enough medevacs. You know, the bio had stimmed so much there on the front lines. Eventually, it ran out of HP, and that's part of the reason why Beyond probably brought this army back. But if he had just a couple more medevacs a minute or two ago, once he pushed in, once he got the kill on that expansion, I think the momentum really could have built up. But now we've had about a minute or two of quiet in this game where Shin is on nearly 80 drones. Beyond is sitting on just 4 bases. The main base is mined out. The natural expansion is starting to mine out. And now Shin can really leverage this economic superiority. I'm worried for Beyond that the next fight is not going to be close if Shin is able to max out.
The only thing Beyond has is a gargantuan army here, but Shin basically locked in on layer tech, kept taking fights, and once I think he got comfortable, he's now pushed into Hive. But you know, Beyond, it's going to be a minute before I think he can attack out here again. And so I think this is the right idea to try to come in here and just get any damage with the Mutas, just keep the Terrans scrambling, trying to defend wherever they can. We're seeing Beyond finish up the rest of the upgrades that he can get here. So he's going to get that concussive shell and everything else.
Yeah, Beyond only just now starting to add in some Marauders to this composition. I think he's got a pretty good read that Shin is likely going to try and go into Ultras from here, but honestly, even if Shin were to throw down the Ultra list then once that Hive is complete, he doesn't have the supply to actually go into it that quickly. So Marauders at the very least going to try and slow down the front line of Shin, provide a little bit of tankiness there in case those Banelings try to connect with those Marines. But the real concern for me is that there haven't been a lot of skirmishes in the last couple of minutes, and despite that, we keep looking at Beyond's army and it is still low on HP. Or there is a real deficit of medevac healing right now for Beyond. And he's going for one last push. This is a maxed out army on 47 SCVs. So it is absolutely massive. And looking at the supplies, actually, and looking at the banks, Shin doesn't have a lot of money in reserve. So much of it's going to come down this first push. But my goodness, what a opening volley by Shin. The Banelings got huge connections.
Yeah, he does finish that next wave of Banes here. The sheer amount of gas that Shin has in Banes now is crazy. He's about to get the Ultralisk Cavern, which he can't make any Ultras, really, because he's maxed out. But, you know, he'll be able to fill that in as the fight goes on. Obviously, they take a lot longer to hatch than the other units. But, yeah, Beyond is not pushing out anymore. He's kind of backed up. I think he might be going for an inevitable kind of exhaust play, trying to secure his side of the map. And the counterattacks from Shin have just been great. Another one over here is going to drive these SCVs away.
Yeah, it's just, I'm not sure that Beyond really has this setup to try and go for an exhaust play from here. There still is no Ghost Academy. The SCV count, it's very low. And typically, if you're going for an exhaust play, a low SCV count can be a good thing. But that's assuming you have a lot of macro command centers set up. That is not the case here for Beyond. It's just the 4 orbital commands that he initially had at the start of the game. And he just hasn't really been able to find the damage. There have been several moments where Beyond pushes out like this and tries to get significant damage done, at least economically, to Shin. He just hasn't able to get the big connections yet.
Okay. Right now, Byun, who's so close to hitting that base in the bottom left, but a small counterattack is going to draw him back in. An even bigger counterattack here is probably going to wipe out this Orbital.
Orbital over the 3 o'clock will get taken out by those Mutalisks. The Lings and Banelings now looking for the connections.
This is going to knock Byun down to 24 SCVs.
At 24 SCVs, 3 orbital commands, and only really 1 mining base. I'm looking at the minimap right now. I'm not sure there's more than 1 mineral patch of the natural expansion here for Byun. Things are in dire straits. I think as Byun, you have 148 army supply, you just have to send it. You have no chance of playing a macro game from here. You have to win the fight, but Shin once more with just huge Baneling hits.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing so much damage now to the natural. Now, I think Shin can basically give up a base or 2, because after this exchange is finished, Terran is going to basically be, not great play-by-play. There we go. He's going to get not GG.
I mean, Byun just ran out of steam right there.
Yeah.
Mappu was highlighting there were only 3 medevacs in those final moments there for Byun.
Yeah.
It feels like there was such a deficit of medevacs really from the mid-game on. Byun did a pretty good job of keeping them alive early on, but once the Mutalisk count got high enough and there were just skirmishes all over the map, it feels like Shin just kept that completely under control. So Byun just seeing no path to victory there. Gonna fall 0-2 now, down to Shin in this best of 5.
Yeah, Shin is playing out of his mind. I don't know. I mean, Byun, I thought he put up a decent fight, but his economy was getting smaller and smaller, and he never seemed to really recover it. He never really seemed to be able to stabilize with the number of counterattacks. I actually lost count of how many counterattacks even happened in that game, but the whole time, anytime he made a move, Shin just got in there, punished, and then as long as he didn't die to the push, he was fine. Look, if you're watching now and you haven't already, please consider signing up for the Patreon. We would love to earn your support. The more that you're able to support us by signing up on Patreon, the more participation you get in our tournament. You can vote on maps or players. Obviously, you get access to replays as well. And maybe you've been meaning to get that nudge. You can download the app on your phone, or you can just go to the website. But sign up there. And honestly, we wouldn't be able to do it without you guys,
Yeah, thank you so much for supporting us. Anyway, folks, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, this best of 5 between Byun and Shin will continue. That opening from Hero, it feels like an inevitability. I think that Solar's defense was actually quite solid because Hero, he invested so many resources.
It was a lot of
adapts. Yeah, it also delayed his economy. Keep in mind, that was a core before Nexus. That's why he was able to set up the pylon block of the natural expansion, why he was able to delay that hatch and set up subsequent attacks. Anyway, folks, we would love you to support us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/@ReviveSC2. Click the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. These things, they really do make a difference in kind of feeding RSL into the algorithm for StarCraft 2. Our channel, it's growing, but it's still very small relative to a lot of the larger StarCraft 2 channels. We would love to get on more players' radars.
Absolutely. We're going to go to a short little break before the rest of this series continues, so do not go anywhere. More Hero versus Solar coming on up.
Welcome back, everybody. Hero versus Solar, all tied up 1-1. We have got a series, folks, in this best of 5, getting ready to go into game number 3. These have been some very fun matches we've had so far. Not even just the best of 5, but like the individual games. The ZVZ earlier today, now the PVZ between these two. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, no, boring turtley games so far. I mean, I guess Hero was kind of trying for that a little bit last game, but still throws in the aggression here and there, of course, with his interesting style, still going for a lot of those adepts early on. And then Solar, of course, responding with a very aggressive push himself, so still very interesting. And he's actually joined up with the dog. Okay, that's the new gamer strat. Just have your dog on your lap to ease the nerves, just to relax you a little bit. I love that. Okay, very nice.
That is a beautiful dog.
It is a very cute little guy.
It is so fluffy. I don't even know. I don't know what angle. Like, what is it looking at? I have no idea because it's just a ball of floof.
I think it's just looking to the side. Like, we're looking at its ear right now, I think. Yeah, there he is. Aw, so adorable. Hero, where's your pet? Come on. Boring-ass room over here.
I read the rules for the RSL, and nowhere does it say a dog can't play StarCraft.
That's a good point.
Is Solar going to game with the dog? Where are the cameras? We need the player cameras, Z. There we go.
Just leave it there
Just
the whole
leave
time.
it like this the whole time.
We got to see.
I don't even want to do the player intros. Let's do the dog intros. What's the dog's name?
On the bottom left-hand side, spotting with the brown fur, it is Solar's dog.
Oh, that's cute. Up at the top left in the blue, we got Hero.
With no dog.
With no dog. Oh, that's great.
A boring, empty room.
Man, I haven't had. It's hard in a lot of Korean apartments. My landlords just haven't allowed me to have pets. I've asked many times. I'm like, can I get a cat, please? And they're, no. And I was like, oh. I haven't had a pet. I used to have so many pets when I was younger. I miss having dogs and cats. I feel like it's made me have an even bigger soft spot for them in my heart.
Yeah, I would love to
so
get some
excited.
cats, man. I love cats as well. I've had them all growing up, so very wishing to have a cat eventually again over here in Korea. But actually, okay, hold up. Hero, look at him.
Oh.
Doing it yet again. I'm really so curious about this because he did this a little bit in the pre-patch as well. Before all the worker changes, he would sometimes, he was like 1 in, I don't know, like 15 games bring this out. So I really wonder what the thought process is. I feel like it's just like the economy. Like you just don't have to spend as many resources walking the probe around because you just instantly send it right back to the minerals. So you're losing as little possible mining time as you can. So that seems to be the only real benefit of it. As you can see, he's also not scouting, so it kind of just leans into that fact. He's trying to get as much economy as possible in the early game.
Wow, gamer moment. He
Ooh, I
knows
love
the
that.
timings to check for the first Overlord. That is sick. All right, Hero throwing down the natural expansion. And as you said, I do think greed is a big part of it. Going for a no scout and the gateway and pylon and core all in the main base like this, it's about as greedy as it can possibly get. You know, like a worker mines, I think it's like 50 or 55 minerals a minute, right around that amount. So, you know, the fact that your probe isn't going all the way down to the ramp to build the gateway, the cybernetics core, all these other things, it's about a mineral a second that you're getting, which, you know, it might be small, but StarCraft 2 played at this top level. Those kind of small things, they add up to something big.
Yeah. Hero definitely trying to just get as much income as possible, and the fact that the way that this map works out with that scouting, you can see he knows he's definitely studied this map up. I mean, it's on the ladder as well, so has probably gotten some good experience there, but knows exactly when that Overlord's coming. So doesn't even need to bother sending the probe out at all. Just gets the scout as to where that Overlord's coming from, knows where his opponent is, and is able to just send the Adept right across. Just assume.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for waiting. We're going to go into game number 2 now and see if Byun can come back or if Shin is just going to close us out.
Yeah, it's a quick 2-0. The advantage with Shin. I'm not sure if Byun is going to be able to come back here. It's going to take a reverse sweep. He has to win the next 3 games in a row if he wants to survive in RSL Season 6. And like honestly, in the group stages, Byun looked really good. He's been in top form. But the Shin that we're seeing right now in these first 2 games, it's like next level. I mean, the aggression, especially in Game 1 and Game 2, is just through the roof. And the follow-up that we saw in Game 2, I mean, I kind of felt like Shin was sacrificing a lot to go for that early pressure. He was only on 19 drones. I know he droned heavily behind it and he did get damage done. But, like, the discrepancy between how many units Shin had and how many units Byun had when Byun went for that first move out was crazy. I mean, it was like a screen full of Zerglings. So Shin just kind of playing out of his mind right now as we go into game number 3. And what is Byun going to do to try and solve this puzzle?
Yeah, I mean, that's the big question, right? You know, we had game 1 with a full-on just shutdown from Shin. Byun, honestly, I think just with not a good build. But not a build that, you know, was either able to scout what was going to come his way or able to preempt. You know, a lot of build orders, you're just sort of installing these preemptive measures so that you don't, you know, if this comes, okay, I do this or that. But he didn't have that. Game 2 was a little bit more of a different story because Game 2 was actually a real, proper StarCraft fight, right? Back and forth. But, you know, Byun did not cover his weekends, right? I mean, the counterattacks kept hitting in different sides and doing lots of damage. And, you know, he was kind of getting pulled to the left and pulled to the right and wasn't able to accomplish much on the map. And by the end, I think he had like 35 SCVs, you know, to the 80 drones. You know, Zerg more than doubling the worker count here. And Zerg basically just having so much of the map, there's not a lot you can do.
It's so crazy to me that CC first versus Hatch first, the CC goes down first.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, it's nuts. It's going to take so long for me to get over this. But yeah, we have another Command Center first opening here for Bjorn. And in game number 1, I didn't mind the build too much. I think the game would have looked very different if he had completed the wall into the natural expansion. I really do think it was just a couple of seconds that Bjorn needed to be able to get the Marines on the ramp into a safe position. And then he probably would have been able to survive and, you know, transpose into what looks like a pretty standard game from there. But as it was, Shin just kind of barreling through in that game number 1 with the Lings and Banelings, getting the full surround of the Marines, completely mopped the floor with Bjorn. And so I don't mind Bjorn going back to the Command Center first here in game number 3. I think as long as his scouting is on point, or as long as his SimCity and defense is on point, this is a really good opening to go for, because your economy just comes online so fast as Terran going for CC first. You can choose whether you want to play a 3CC game behind this, or you can go for some really high-octane 2-base aggression.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough for Bjorn to recover. I was saying earlier, I think these guys are evenly matched, and, you know, maybe this is a 3-0, but in which case maybe they weren't that evenly matched after all. But it is hard to imagine Bjorn taking 3 consecutive games in a row here. But this is a different style of opening. By the way, Shin went for these aggro moves both times. One, I think it's not even a good way to talk about it. To say like one was an all-in, the other one wasn't. It was just, they were both very well executed openings that kind of made a pretty easy mid game for the Zerg. So we want to watch for that here as well, because a lot of games Zerg don't do that, right? A lot of games Zerg is actually like passive the entire time and trying to get to some kind of point in the game where they're so developed that then they things really kick in. So let's see what kind of game we're going to get there.
Factory and Reactor finishing up for Bjorn in just a moment, so likely going to be a Reactor Hellions here for our Terran player. By the way, I just want to say, I love how finely tuned Bjorn's build is. You notice just now he's adding the 3rd SCVs onto the refineries in the main base. That's because SCVs, the first 2, they mine optimally from the refinery, but you notice once there's a 3rd SCV, unless it's a further refinery like the one here on the top side, there's a little bit of a delay before they actually start mining. And so Bjorn just trying to make everything as optimal as possible, prioritizing the minerals in the early game to get the Hellions a little bit faster, to get the infrastructure set up a little bit faster. He's trying to play basically the perfect setup here, and so far it's been undisrupted. So I'm really excited to see where Bjorn's going to go with this.
Okay, buildings are going to come down around the bottom here. Now, this is one of these games where, the Zerg can get enough to attack before the wall-in is done, right? We were talking about how in game 1 you could have had infrastructure down here. Well, he didn't get that this time. He actually kind of gets a surround here.
The SCV's in a very good position, though. Wow.
Yeah,
even the Marines surviving. Some really nice micro from Bjorn. I thought way more than 3 SCVs would fall there. 4 or 5 until... Wait, are there more Lings in the... Oh, they're here in the natural expansion. Okay, 6 SCVs. That's a lot better damage here for Shin, but still, great micro by Bjorn.
I don't even know how he did that. That was crazy. That was almost like pixel perfect fitting where, yeah, the Lings really couldn't get the surface area. I feel like Lings can get like some of the best surface area in the game. They're very slippery units. They'll kind of wrap around stuff and get surrounds, but that was one where they didn't quite pull it off. So, Shin's initial attack, his initial poke in, not actually getting that much done. Now the Hellions are going to come across the map, and it's going to be Shin defending.
Hellions looking to find the damage right now. Queen's a little bit out of position. Ling's doing a very good job of zoning away those Hellions so they can't dive into the main base. And man, okay, there's a little bit of a room there for Bjorn to get past the Evolution Chamber and the Spore Crawler building of the natural expansion. So at least 2 Hellions will survive. I don't mind Bjorn going for a dive like that one, but you're hoping to get a lot more than just 3 drones. So a bit of a painful loss here for Terran.
Yeah, well, with Banshee Cloak almost done, there's going to be a second phase of this where we need to see how how safe the drones are actually going to be here. So there's a couple more moves here for Bjorn to kind of come out and do damage. He's getting his 3rd command center here as well.
I was wondering whether we would have that 3rd CC come in or additional barracks here for Bjorn, but he is going to be opting for that more macro-focused play right now. So it's mostly going to be harassment here, and behind it, it's going to be mech. Double armory, 2nd factory here for Bjorn.
What am I even looking at?
When's the last time we saw Bjorn go mech?
Almost never. Nor we have seen his infamous 2 Marine drop that we're seeing right over here. What is this? What am I even looking at? I mean, imagine there were 8 Marines in that. That would have killed the hatchery. You're forced to cancel.
Well, I mean, he's just been so.
But with 2 Marines, you make them at least move their queens.
Hey, maybe you get to snipe an Overlord or something. I don't know. I don't know what the objective is here for Bjorn, but
I guess he's trying to hide that he's meching, so he's like, look.
Yeah, but if that's the case, you see 2 Marines, it's kind of like, well, this has to be, like, what else is it possibly going to be? You think Bjorn, like, messed up and only put 2 Marines in there when he had more?
So weird. I was like, is there another bug where it's like there's a Widowmine in there, but it looks like it's 2 things instead of 1? Okay, so he's going to come forward here. He's got the Hellbats. He's pushing in.
It's a lot of queens, though. A couple of transfuses available here for Shen.
Well, State, this is part 2 of the 2 Marine attack. I mean, the damage is just enough that then the Hellbats can kill the hatchery later on.
Hey, the Hellbats, they actually pulled all the queens over to that 3rd base, which opened up some of these mineral lines for the Banshees to get a lot of damage done. Is there even a queen in the main base? Because, yeah, no, so much more damage is being done. It almost feels like the purpose of the Hellbats was just to pull the queens out of position, because that's 14 drones that fell to the Banshees. That was a sick move.
Yeah, I take it back. The 2 Marine play was it, man. He did a little bit of Timmy 2 Marines, I like to call it. He's going to come in here and surround this, and I think that's going to be it for the Hellbats. But, you know, as the dust settles here, what, it's 17, 19 drones have been killed, 20. It just goes up and up.
This is like... It's not game ending, but it feels like it's game ending.
Well, I mean,
27 drones. A third of Shin's economy is gone. The Spire's gonna take some damage. It eventually will be defended by these queens. But also, there was like a 12 or 13 kill Hellbat down there. How many Zerglings actually fell to those Hellbats? They traded so cost effectively. 59 Lings for 9 Hellbats.
You know,
I mean, my goodness.
I used to joke about how a lot of times people would just go Hellbats and they would lose the game later. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this time it works,
Yeah, this time I'm like, well, not in this round.
I think there's the extra. Oh no, the hatchery's in a position.
Yeah.
There's the added bonus for Bjorn where like he doesn't usually do this kind of build either, right? He's a very marine heavy player, and so this is probably throwing Shin through all sorts of loops. You're not expecting this sort of opening coming in from Bjorn.
Yeah, so we're gonna have you know, the Muta's hatching here. Now, you know, one thing about mech is it takes a little bit more time to start up. It's not something that kind of flows immediately into activity in the game like you see with Marines and Medivacs. So, you know, that will give Zerg a little bit of time to recover. But, you know, a lot of times what happens is that you kill a lot of the Zerg's drones and they end up remaking all those drones. And then when they're back into making their army, they just don't quite have enough.
Yeah, Shin going up to 5 bases, but I wonder if he is going to push past 66 drones anytime soon. He is adding in 5 more workers, but there's a lot of pressure on him because beyond he's going for Battle Mech, he's going for Hellions and Cyclones, which is a very mobile composition, especially with 1-1, and I believe Blue Flame is done as well. So Shin has to show a lot of respect for this. Without Infestors, it is very difficult to actually kind of corral this army, especially with the creep spread being as dismal as it is, and that's not through any fault of Shin, it's just because Bjorn's map control has been through the roof up until this point.
Okay, the Mutas come back here, and they're not going to get a lot done. Cyclones are so strong at basically deflecting this kind of stuff. 12 o'clock is going to be hit really hard here. And, you know, the real abuse comes with the kiting.
Yeah.
Right? It's like once you try to engage, they just scoot back.
No Baneling speed, it's only about halfway done. It feels like it's going to be impossible for Shin to get the connections that he needs to actually clean this up. I mean, we're going to see slow Banelings try and come in. Maybe if the Lings can body block, but no, there isn't enough.
Yeah, I mean, the Cyclones can just be so abusive here, and that's going to be it. Shin taps out. Beyond going for mech, which is, by the way, just... out of all the Terran players that I cast regularly, I think he goes for mech the least.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody who goes mech less than Bjorn. I mean, this guy, he just loves making Marines, man.
Yeah, well,
like Reapers and Marines. That's what Bjorn wants to make in basically every single TVZ. If he watches TVZs, he wants to make Reapers and Marines. Yeah. He loves those units. He never goes mech. But really cool play by Bjorn, just kind of throwing a wrench into the works there for Shin. Shin certainly did not expect a build like that one, and now Bjorn's on the board.
Yeah, I mean, beautifully done by Bjorn. I don't know if he'll go for mech again in the best of 5, but it's interesting to see that that game went so much better. Now, maybe that's because of the element of surprise. Maybe that's because Bjorn is just not, Shin is just like, this isn't even on the radar for him, so he's not prepared for that, but he started the comeback.
Yeah, it's a very promising start, too, because that was a convincing win in game number 3. Bjorn now only 2 map wins away from advancing to the next round. Shin still on match point. Only needs 1 more win out of these next 2 maps, and he will survive, and Bjorn will be eliminated. It's getting close. I'm glad it's not going to be a 3-0, because I was really excited for Bjorn versus Shin in this one. This matchup always delivers. They're both very aggressive players. They love to play the mid-game. They love to battle. I hope we get more. I hope it goes to a game 5.
Yes, please give us a game 5 here. I got a little bit scared when that game 1 and it's so fast. Yeah, well, I mean, we know that, mech is on the menu here. We've got Shin with the dark portrait here. Showing some support for dark.
Yeah, I can't wait until dark comes back, man. It's going to be a great day.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. The older RTS games get sometimes it's so much nicer. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
there was
they
so
age
much
well.
fear about like, oh, is StarCraft 2 going to be around, or this guy's going to go to his military service. It's going to be in 2 years. It's like, it's going to still be here, man. All the good RTS games are just still here. People just still play them.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird time, like 10 years ago or so, where there was so much dialogue in the community about there kind of being like a timeline for players where they will need to retire because they'll get too old or their hands will be too slow.
Well, this was all the way
stuff.
back at StarCraft 1. People were doing.
Oh, did it go back then? But everyone, I feel
You
like
know where
everyone
it
was so
started?
young in StarCraft 1.
I know, but they didn't think they were. That's what's so weird about it. There was an interview with Slayer's Boxer on Korean TV, and this was like, dude, this was like 2002 or 3 or something like that, and he was like, I'm too old. My hands are too slow. And he was like 20 or like 19. It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I kind of understand it because I feel like every single pro gamer wants to be more fast, And sometimes if you get to a certain level, like a player like Boxer, your mind might actually just be faster than your hands.
Well, I think also he was known for doing these drops and these kind of like little tactical moves. And then there was like this whole generation of people that just started like mass expanding and making stuff, right? So the game kind of changed fundamentally. Roach Warren, by the way.
Roach Warren double gas after pool first. This is so weird what we're seeing out of Shin. The double gas especially. Like, is this going to be... It's obviously going to be Roaches, but like, is this going to be like a ton of Ravagers? I feel like you never see double gas with this.
Maybe it all economically lines up to just have basically like only Ravagers coming out and hitting. But yeah, I mean, even just to go back to the point you were saying earlier, I mean, like when we were doing GSL, I think Nest T was like 29 or 31. We were like,
I remember that.
He's so old. And now it's like, well, that's really not that.
I wish I could go back to 29.
Yeah, we're eventually going to have pro gamers in their 50s. What in chess? What is the cutoff where they say that you actually do start to go down?
I have no idea.
Is it over 50? I actually don't know, but I've heard that there's some that have said, because that's a better measurement, right? Because that game's been around for a long. RTS is still very new when you compare it to something
Magnus
like chess.
Carlsen, his elo now it's lower than it was at his peak, right? I think it is.
Is it?
I'm not sure.
But how old
actually.
is Magnus Carlsen?
He's got to be like early 30s, doesn't he? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it
would be interesting. Maybe Ziggy can do some Googling.
You know what your job is, Ziggy. Go look up chess stats on the computer. Huh? 35.
35?
Okay.
Gotcha. All right, well, Shin's going to be going for this Ravager push. It's so interesting going for this double gas. Is he still mining out of both gases fully, by the way? Like, how many Ravagers will this actually be? Because it's Hellions and Marines here for Bjorn. He's pulled off of one gas entirely. He has 3 in the other gas. 3 Ravagers, 2 Roaches. All right, what can Shin get done with this? There's no bunker here for Bjorn. And Bjorn's going to get supply block this depot going down.
He's going to probably get the reactor here, too.
Oh, he doesn't have another depot, does he? He can't even drop down a supply. Oh, no.
Oh, my God. This is going to be pretty bad. Nothing that's going to be spawning for Terran is, like, necessarily that useful right now. SCVs are going to be pulled. Now, you got to remember, Zerg is droning behind this.
Oh, this is huge damage. I mean, the surround on the Ravagers is huge.
You know, I got to say,
these SCVs.
That was quite bad by Shin there.
Yeah, wow.
He needed to basically know what to zero in on.
That felt like it was so good for Shin. It was about to end the game, and then Gun got the perfect surround. And at the end of the day, it's only 4 SCVs down. He's still at 29.
He should have just been, like, not even really doing stuff back at home. Like, if his screen even left that. You know, so much, I think this is all one of the issues that happens like with the mythology of APM is people they have this idea that you're doing everything at the same time, and I'm like, actually, a lot of times you're doing like literally just one thing.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
if there's a space in there where you can go back and do these other tasks, but sometimes you might actually want to just zero in on this one moment.
I swear to God, though, I've seen Clem drop in 2 different locations on a map in a TVZ, and while he's microing both drops, he goes back at home to saturate Vespene geysers. I've seen this happen.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's the most ludicrous thing. It's like, nobody does this.
It's crazy, yeah. No, I know exactly what you're saying, but then you see a moment like that, and you're like, okay, well, your screen should have been here and nowhere else.
But the thing is, like, Clem would actually do it properly. I think everybody's always wants to play, like, the perfect idealized version of themselves. Yeah. And sometimes it works. But sometimes there might be moments like that where your Ravagers get surrounded by SCVs.
Yeah.
I feel like I became a better player.
I became a better player when I just realized, like, what is actually going to win the game right now? Like, what do I need to actually... Okay, like, what are the win conditions? Do I have room? Do I have the space inside the game to go back and do this or not?
I always found that for me, one thing that worked a lot on the ladder, I'm not sure if it's just a mental thing or if it actually changed the way that I play, but I remember when I was struggling on the ladder at times, which nowadays is pretty much every single day, but I went into matches with a philosophy of, let me just try not to lose to something stupid. Like, I'm not going to focus on winning, like, let me just not lose, and good things are going to happen.
Well, I remember just, like, you know, when I was much younger, like playing and I was trying to do like a million things at once, and I'm actually just doing everything poorly.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
We've all been there.
Yeah. Okay, so 1-1 started here for Terran. Now, even though that attack was shut down, Shin did get a decent amount of damage, and you know it was a total of like 3 Ravagers and 2 Roaches, right? Mm-hmm. So I think Shin's on a really, really healthy trajectory right now. Let's see what the Banshees can do, though.
Yeah, I would give a slight edge to Bjorn after the early game, if anything, but Shin's position absolutely playable. Does he have... Oh, he does have an Overseer. It's right here in position, in fact. Spot for these Banshees, but Bjorn already in game number 3 got a ton of damage done with these. I think it was like 20-plus drones in total when he paired it with the Hellbats, and he's off to a great start here in game number 4. 7 or 8 drones going to fall. 1 Banshee will go down, but I think this is really a worthwhile trade.
Yeah, that was really nicely done. Almost 10 drones there, just as a Spore Crawler finishes. So, you know... and he's going to just chuck his 3rd CC out here and try to take real control of his position on the map here. By the way, in the other games we saw here, it did seem a little bit like Zerg has a hard time getting that 4th base up. Mm-hmm. And some of that might be because we haven't really ironed out the wrinkles in the meta yet for like what it's supposed to look like. I mean, historically, a lot of the Legacy of the Void games, like we kind of said, okay, this is where the 4th base is. Almost always a Zerg gets it up, but occasionally, you know, a player does come in there and break that down. But, you know, with the drone change and the change in the way the economy functions, there's a lot that is, it's harder, I think, to get to that point here.
Yeah, Shin, by the way, I think might be going into fast ultras once more, this time doing it on 3 hatches. Likely there will be a 4th hatch coming on a little bit, but Ultra and Temple, it's kind of hard to take a 4th hatchery. You have to either mine out the minerals or take down the rocks on the south side, or expand towards your Terran opponent, which no Zerg wants to do in spawns like this one. So Shin will be mining this out, but he is posturing for a push. It's 1-1 Marines with combat shields about to finish up. Widowmine gets sniped there by the Biles, and I love how Bjorn, after he stopped that initial push, he's like, you know what, where is Shin going to expand to next? It's probably going to be here on the south side. Let me just park this low HP Banshee here and not let him mine out the minerals.
Dude, that's a great usage of that Banshee. I really like that. A lot of times the Banshee doesn't have a whole lot of functionality after it does its initial sweep, but I think that's a great place to put that. And, you know, sure, the Zerg can expand to other places, but now it's easier to try to control those spaces. A lot of StarCraft games are just won because, like, it's just kind of hard to get, like, a 5th or 6th base up because there's too many things going on.
Yeah.
You know, 1 or 2 units just stopping a worker from starting something can ripple in effect. It's like a butterfly effect thing. It can hit everything else later on in the game.
I feel like a lot of RTS games as they evolve, and StarCraft 2 especially, you know, in the very early stages when everything is super aggressive, it's like, well, how do I stop them from taking natural expansion? And then that kind of gets figured out. It's like, okay, how do I stop them from taking a 3rd expansion? And then that gets figured out. And just kind of keep kicking the ball down the post. And for here right now, for Bjorn, it seems like in this series, it's mostly about keeping Shin's 4th base under control. He's been doing a very good job of just not letting Shin push past 66 drones of saturation. And now as Shin opens himself up, going for a 4th base, Bjorn actually going to push right on here into the main. 1-1 combat shields all done right now. Widowmine actually going to burrow here too, but ooh, that fungal, pretty good connection. We'll slow things down. Are those medevacs actually able to get out? Ooh. Another fungal connecting. There isn't a lot of anti-air.
It's like Biles just going in random locations.
Oh my god, 3 of these medevacs on basically no HP, but at the very least, Shin, he just cleaned up all those Marines, and now Ultras have begun.
Yeah. Yeah, Ultra Tech starting up here. That really does change Terran's ability to kind of sustain in fights. Before Ultras come out, it's all about, can you kite? Do you have enough room to kite and control, obviously good enough to make the maneuver? But the Ultras, they allow the Zerg to really kind of intrude on positions that would otherwise be impossible to get into as Zerg.
Yeah, Bjorn is now starting to add in Marauders to the mix. Yeah, I feel like these Ultra styles are especially potent versus Bjorn because he is so Marine heavy. I'm concerned about what the Marauder count is going to be when he maxes out because Marine's still being produced quite heavily. Widowmine's also being added in. There might not be enough in terms of firepower to deal with this initial round of Ultras. Once +2 Carapace is done, keep in mind those Carapace upgrades cheaper now for Zergs. As Ultra Armor is done, you pair that up in, say, a choke point, the Microbial Shroud, and it could be a very dangerous position for Bjorn.
Bjorn's still very in control of that. Where'd that Banshee go, by the way?
I think it might have gotten cleaned up at some point.
Yeah, I thought I saw it flying away.
Yeah,
it did fall. I love this Banshee here, and it just like leaves. Okay, so there's no way to take 12. Nice Biles down here. Again, he needs to get like some good fungals if he's going to prevent this from retreating.
There's the Microbial Shroud. These Ultras taking way less damage right now. Bjorn has to keep kiting back. Another Shroud coming through. That's it. The Infestors are out of energy, so Bjorn wants these Ultras to try and move out of this zone. But to see how much sustain there is on those Ultras.
It's crazy how much armor they've got. We have an attackman here from the bottom, actually. Some Marines kind of coming around here. A lot. Dude, we have 40 SCVs killed.
Shin just pulverizes position. I mean, Bjorn is going to barely survive right now.
It's like a drive-by. We're like, yeah, we're going to come right out the other side.
Oh, look how low HP this bio is. I think one of those Infestors very close to having 75 energy for a fungal. A fungal could literally have killed a lot of those Marines, I think, but Shin just barely missing the energy threshold. Able to go for that spell casting. He's going to charge in once more. Does not want to give Bjorn time to heal back up.
Okay, he has taken so much damage now. I don't know if this game's going to go on. I mean, the Terran is basically broken, right? We're down to 26 SCVs. Zerg, Zerg did not take the whole map here. Zerg basically did a pretty tight 4-base powering play and kind of went toe-to-toe with the Terran. And Terran was not able to really contest that. One of the challenges when you have a player that plays tight like Shin did is you don't have a lot of places to push, right? The Zerg isn't actually that spread out.
That's a relatively low economy. It was 66 drones, just 3 bases. The 4th hatchery there is just so you can start saturating once the main and the natural start mining out and you get some extra larvae too. It was really more of like a high-tech timing push coming in from Shin, as crazy as it sounds with him being on max. I mean, everything lined up. The armor upgrades, Microbial Shroud, the Infestors being near max energy. It was a perfect alignment here for Shin, and Bjorn is going to try and get some damage done, try and find some parity with harassment, but he is limping into this game. He can't even really afford SCV production. It's Marauders, Marines, Widowmines, and nothing else. Because the SCV count, it's all the way down at 30. He's starting at workers right now, but it's a terrible position for Bjorn to be in. When you can't really afford full-time SCV production and military production, you have to choose one, and Shin is maxed out. He's going to be coming in for another attack soon, so how do you prioritize SCVs over Army?
Yeah, I don't know where Bjorn can try to take this game. The problem is he doesn't quite have enough to really generate a threat somewhere else, and Shin is basically just pooling his army down here, basically in the very middle of the map. And he could just attack in again. I'm actually a little bit surprised he's not just going to go in right now. Maybe he just wants to play a very clean, careful endgame. Sometimes that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, for now, Shin playing a little bit safe. Seems like he has built up enough, especially in this Baneling count. That is a lot of Banelings and Ultras streaming in right now. Still no high-tech units, no ghosts here for Bjorn. It's just Marauders and Marines and 7 Widowmines trying to defend. The Banelings get connections. In the 3rd base, even more SCVs fall. I mean, 8 SCVs at 14 minutes, it might not feel that consequential, but when you're already down below 40 SCVs, it is huge. Yeah, I feel like we're just watching Shin slowly win a war of attrition where he just doesn't want to overextend. He knows that he has Byun on the ropes. He knows Byun is down to 3 bases and very low SCVs. Just play it safe. Just keep slowly chipping away like this. Shin pushes in once more. This is a great angle, a great fight for Byun, but I think Shin's army is just a little bit too strong.
Yeah, I mean, this game's over. Again, it's kind of a funny series. Byun, the one game he wins with Mech, and then anything that he's kind of, a star for doing did not succeed for him. He was not able to kind of take fights that, only he would take and win. Shin dominates. Byun's out of RSL.
Yeah, kind of surprising to have Byun eliminated, first player eliminated here in the playoffs, but I must say, Shin looked so good in that series, it kind of blew my mind. I was expecting Byun to be able to get away with a lot more aggression off the back of like a CC first, where your economy, it kicks in a high gear a lot faster. You're able to leverage that into, say, timing pushes on 2 or 3 CCs. That's kind of where my headspace was at coming into the series today. But Shin just totally flipped what the roles were going to be in my head. He was aggressive, like super aggressive in 3 out of the 4 games.
He was never able to get almost anything done. It looked like he was starting to get, some pushes off, but Shin with the counterattacks, in game 2, as well as like a, kind of a different tight leap into ultra attack on 4 bases. Really, he played extremely well. I feel like Shin is really, getting his head wrapped around this patch and this meta that's slowly forming before us. So, Shin will be playing on August 8th. That'll be next week. We have Solar versus Lambo coming up next. Tomorrow, it's going to be Clem versus Cyril, which is going to be insane. And, of course, Hero versus Rogue.
Yeah, the winner's top 4 is going to be insane tomorrow. Do not miss that. Clem, Cyril, Hero, Rogue is going to be awesome. And, of course, we're not done yet. We have Solar versus Lambo and another best of 5 that's going to be going on later today. And Lambo's been really fun to watch for me. He's been streaming a lot. And when he streams, he's one of my favorite players to watch because he kind of talks through everything that he's thinking.
Yeah.
And Lambo is like one of the smartest players in StarCraft 2, in my opinion.
I agree.
He just has such great insight into the game. I know a lot of professional Zerg players will even ask Lambo to help him like workshop builds or something before a tournament. He is a brilliant player, and Solar, historically, one of the best ZVZ players of all time. I think it's going to be a great best of 5.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Guys, check out our merch. We've got a ton of great stuff over at tastelessthreads.com. 20% discount for Patreon supporters. Be there.
be at tastelessthreads.com.
We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to go on to the second half of today's matches here in the RSL.
What does that even stand for, NZST? A Munson Scott. Oh, New Zealand.
Oh.
What is ST? I know T's time. New Zealand Standard Time? Do they go by Kiwi time down there?
Oh, so they just take the New Zealand time. Every time zone, that's true, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Oh, well, that's so interesting. Yeah.
I guess New Zealand's quite close. I wouldn't think that New Zealand is 3 hours ahead of us. Because I know Australia, I have a lot of friends that are on the east coast of Australia. They're basically the same time zone as us here in Korea. I don't know that New Zealand is actually that far to the east. But in any case, wherever you are in the world, or at least for a good section of it, you can look on screen, find out when we are going live, and we hope you tune in.
Yes. And thank you, of course, to our official partner who's been with us from the very beginning, Archon Studios. They're absolutely incredible. Their minifigures are super fun to see and play with and paint if you are one of the painters as well. Ziggy has been painting all of these every single day. The Nidus that he painted up looks very nice and everything. So check these things out. They're awesome. Check out the website for Archon Studios so you can go ahead and get yourself some. They look really good. They're perfectly the same as what you would see in the cutscenes and in the game. So big shout out to them.
Yeah, support Archon Studios and also support the Patreon here at the RSL. There are a ton of perks, not just what you see on screen, but really the best ones for me, voting on the maps. You guys have been spectacular at that. I was really skeptical at the very beginning of RSL. A year ago, we were talking about having the fan votes in for the maps, and I kind of had this perspective, which was wrong, by the way, where I was like, no, let's just keep the ladder maps. It's what the pros are going to be on. It's where we're going to get the best maps because, you know, they know how to play on the maps. But this shakeup of having these community-voted maps into the pool has been so much fun. It's created a lot of unique situations. It's just been a blast. You guys are awesome. So if you're a Patreon supporter, thank you. If you're not, we invite you to join us.
Yes, join us. So you can also get a 20% discount from our merch site, tastelessthreads.com. Oh my gosh, look at that. Beautiful shirt you can see right there with the incredible portrait of Tasteless and Artosis. You can wear that to the BlizzCon finals as the RSL finals are happening there, and you can get them to sign it, and it could look really funny. And then, of course, all the other RSL stuff is over there and other gamer swag.
Every time I see the Artosis face on that portrait, it just looks a little bit more sad to me. You know,
it's like eyes like falling out of his head.
More and more sad. Anyway, folks, we are still trying to grow the RSL YouTube, and even though it's been what, a year and a half, 2 years now that we've been putting on the show here at the RSL, it's still quite small. And even now, we have people that come into the YouTube chat, and in the comments, they'll say that, you know, it's their first time actually finding the RSL. And so we invite you to go there, subscribe, click the like button, just interact with it whichever way is convenient for you, because it really does help us get into the algorithm and help share Revive SC2 with more fans of StarCraft on the YouTube space.
Absolutely. And we're going to be getting into our first match of the day, a ZVZ, Serral versus Shin. Coming on up, it's a best of 5. We got 5 great maps here, starting with Voidstorm, going to Eternity's Edge, Old Sun Temple, Necropolis, and then Fear and Faith to round it all out, if we do get to that. Map number 5. What are we expecting here, Mr. Stay? Because I feel like we are looking at a very one-sided matchup overall. Shin has only beaten Serral once in their careers, so this is going to be a bit tough for him, I think.
Hey, Shin, he might have only beaten Serral once, but it's a new patch. Things are different. Different map pool as well as we're starting out here on Voidstorm. It's Serral versus Shin starting out today with the best of 5. And I'm excited to get into this one.
Yeah, let's see what kind of stuff is getting cooked up here in this EVZ. As we saw a couple of them last couple weeks as well, we've got lots of Zergs in this particular tournament. We've switched up the narrative here, State. We are no longer a Protoss dominant tournament, and we now have a bunch of Zergs coming in as well. So all the people that have been, you know, in a drought of Zergs in the last couple of months from our tournaments, well, they're eating pretty good this season so far.
Yeah, the floodgates are open. Zergs have been unleashed here in the RSLs. It's what, 4 or 5 in the top 8 so far here in the playoffs?
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a ton. And is that was that a 11 or 12 pool? I actually missed it. I think it was a 12 pool coming in here.
12, yeah.
Huh. You know, I was watching Home Story Cup, and I think that was the majority of the ZVZ games that I've actually seen on the recent patches. Because, you know, as a Protoss player trying to figure out the 8-worker start, plus all the balance changes that came through over the past couple of weeks, I've mostly been watching the Protoss games, you know? Just trying to really figure what is going on.
Yeah, when a new patch hits, I essentially just think this game is a one-race game. Like,
yeah,
like,
I mean, you got to figure it out.
I'm watching my own my own race plays, so.
Yeah, it's been interesting.
It's been interesting to me. Enough, State.
I was just thinking the same thing. I'm like, I don't want to listen to this guy.
It's like this. I love making fun of casters when I'm not casting, even if it's just on this break where we're hearing ourselves. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to go to a ZVZ. Lambo versus Solar is coming up.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a really aggressive best of 5. We're talking about this a little bit on the break. It just seems like ZVZ is in a super aggro place right now. It feels almost kind of coin flippy. And I know the Zerg players, the pro gamers, they hate it. If you're on the ladder and you play Zerg, you probably also hate it. Let me tell you, I love it. I love the aggression. I love how exciting ZVZs have been. I love seeing what kind of builds these players are concocting behind the scenes, getting ready for this best of 5, because they had quite a bit of time to prepare for it. I want to see where they're going to be hitting each other with.
Where's his dog?
Oh, yeah, where's the dog?
I was watching I was watching from home while you guys were casting.
Dude, it was amazing.
Man has a dog the whole
time. He played like the entire series versus Hero with the dog.
Didn't play the match, though. He was right there.
It's okay. We looked up the RSL handbook.
Jesus, if it was a Protoss player, he would have been going to BlizzCon right now. Wow, wow. There's kind of a scare.
Let's get Hero to let the dog wall in for him. Maybe he'll do a better job.
All right. Solar in the bottom right. Lambo in the top left.
Lambo, the red Zerg. Solar, the blue Zerg. How aggressive are they going to be? Because basically every ZVZ that I'm seeing, well, maybe not every ZVZ, but like 80% of them, somebody has some shenanigans going on early. There's some kind of early push, some kind of early pull, and it's been really fun to watch the dynamic of players just trying to go for all these different timing attacks and players trying to defend them. It really beats the ZVZ meta that we had a couple of months ago, where it felt like we had some games where the builds would be mirrored until they're on 3 bases and like 4 or 5 queens.
Yeah.
It made me lose my mind. But the faster paced, like aggressive ZVZs that we've gotten in the past couple of weeks, they've been fun. I've enjoyed it.
Well, it's always exciting to see, what kind of new builds we have here. Yeah, you're right though. ZVZ for a while was like this deep macro, just develop, balloon out, inevitable crazy linking, which is good too.
Yeah.
We've got the extractor starting here for Solar, and the pool's going to go down right now.
Gas pool here for Solar. I will say that I love macro games in StarCraft 2, but I think my least favorite macro games are mirror matchup macro games. I don't know why. It just they're always less engaging to me, unless it's like TVT. TVT is pretty dynamic in terms of like...
They're not asymmetric usually,
yeah,
right? So macro games... now, the thing about TVT is I think there's this moment when the add-ons come into play where there are so many different possibilities. And I think with TVT, everything is super high damage, very brittle. So you end up with these really interesting gauges where a fight can totally go 80% in favor of one side.
It feels like all the units are much more specialized than the Protoss or the Zerg ones. Like they're very good at one distinct role, like the siege tank, for instance, or the Marine.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, but all that to say, I think ZVZs in the past couple of days have been a lot of very interesting. Very interesting. And Lambo and Solar just being two of the smartest players in the business. Solar just being kind of a mastermind of ZVZ, and Lambo being really just the brilliant player that he is. It'll be fun to see what kind of builds they're going for. Already we have Solar. For a moment, he only had 2 drones on that gas. He's back down to 3, despite speed being started. So it kind of looks to me like it's going to be Ling Bailing aggression out of him.
Yeah, could be. There's the Baneling Nest starting here now. And we got to watch very carefully and see what Lambo's going to do.
I don't think there's any chance this is going to be defensive Banelings here for Solar. I mean, it's such an aggressive build with the gas pull before hatch.
No, this is definitely going to be designed so that Lings are going to be pretty far across the map before you even start to morph them into Banelings. We're seeing them come out in these pairs over here. And it looks like, yeah, he's going to have 2 on either side here and basically decide where he's going to try to hide these. Did he see the drone?
He did.
Now, I think you want that to just start.
Mm-hmm.
You want the player on this path towards economy, and you want to interrupt that violently. Oh.
Nice scout there by Lambo. Good move. He cancels the 3rd hatchery. So he has a very good idea of what's happening, especially now that he sees the Lings here in front of Solar's natural expansion. What's concerning, though, is that Lambo, he doesn't have a lot of gas right now. There's no Baneling Nest just yet. He has to rely on Lings and Spine Crawlers. I think even if he started a Baneling Nest right now, it wouldn't be done in time to deal with the initial wave from Solars. Those first 2 Lings, they turn into Banelings, and now they're going to push here into the natural. Oh no, not like that.
Wait,
not like that,
what
Solar.
Just happened?
He just detonated them on the eggs.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no.
I can't believe that. That is literally the worst thing that could have happened here. He should be letting the dog play.
Yeah, I was going to say, if the dog was in his lap, at least he would have an excuse. Like, I let the dog micro this. The dog really seemed like it wanted to play, but that was the worst.
I can't believe. Okay, I mean,
the whole point of the 2 Banelings is like, you kind of can shove in there, and Lambo cannot fight you with his Lings until he actually is able to defuse those Banelings with the Queens. Instead, Lambo, just catching a lucky break right there, able to save the natural expansion. Now able to go into a safety Baneling Nest. And it looked like Solar was postured to get quite a bit of damage done here at the natural. I'm not sure exactly how much it would have been. But oh no.
Yeah, okay, so it's not the end of the world, but it's the end of the rush.
Yeah.
And it's the end of the entire plan that Solar basically started this best of 5 out with. And so I guess he must have just accidentally clicked on that, or
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's funny, it's so easy to do, but you just don't see it at pro levels. Lambo forces a cancel. Nicely done.
Yeah, some really nice moves from Lambo early on.
Lambo not overextending at all, by the way.
Pretty good connection with that Baneling. I think I got 5 or 6 Lings in total. So they're getting some more value right now. Pretty good trades overall for our blue Zerg player trying to defend this third hatchery, but Lambo has a lot more Lings streaming across the map. Does Solar actually have enough to defend? This is feeling like it's going to be another cancel. Those are 20 Lings are not yet done for Solar. This hatchery's so low on HP. Lambo looking for connections on the Queens too. Ooh, that Baneling got so close to getting that pack of Lings.
Nice snipe. Did Lambo overextend there, though? We do have Roaches coming out here for Solar, so he's teched up into that, where Lambo's getting his third base still locked into Ling Baneling for the time being. Where are the Banes morphing?
Right here in the front.
Right here in the middle. Oh, that's good for branding. Right over the RSL logo. Now, how prepared is Solar going to be for this? Right now, Lambo has more workers. Oh.
Not the dream connection there for
No.
Solar. Was hoping to take out both of those Banelings instead, only getting one.
Banelings are bad units. That's my takeaway in this game.
This game has made them look very bad.
Yeah, it is.
Wow, Solar able to survive with his third hatchery. I really thought Lambo might be able to take it down. He was able to whittle it to like, what, 50% HP or so, but hatchery will survive. And Solar, he's posturing with some pretty aggressive Roaches right now in the center, but it is a drone follow-up to this, so Solar is not going to be hyper-committing to any kind of pressure. Just moving to the center of the map, forcing some units out of Lambo, and then retreating back to defend. Still no drones here at the third base, so no easy targets for Lambo to try and pick off. And there's this intricate dance of units, fighting units and drones, fighting units and drones on both of them. I keep waiting for one of them to kind of pull the trigger and just full send it, either with Roaches or with Lings, Banelings, or something like that, but both players have been doing a very good job just kind of staying in lockstep, slowly incrementing more units out.
Well, things seem to quiet down a little bit here. We're going back into attacking phase here. Armor's about a third of the way done here for Solar. And Solar's going to continue to pump out more and more Roaches here. On the other side of the map, we've got the layer more than halfway done for Lambo. Both sides on 3 bases. Drone count virtually the same. Although we are finally getting Ravagers coming into play here for Solar.
I'm sorry, Solar doesn't have a layer, does he? Is this just 3 hatch tech? Because it kind of feels like he's going to be pushing. Yeah, no layer here in the main base.
So, yeah, no, he's definitely going to be pushed. He's basically waiting for armor to get done. And so we can see Lambo's going to try to go to that next level of tech. And basically, Solar's hoping to punish that.
It feels like it's a very late timing for a hatch-based timing attack. And it's pretty high drones, too, at 49. But I think that might play to Solar's advantage. It's going to be so unexpected when he moves across the map with all of these Roaches, all of these Ravagers. +1 Carapace will be done for Solar. It'll be a huge boon versus the Zerglings here of Lambo. And Solar almost has full saturation here on the third base. I think Lambo with those Lings might have thought that Solar's trying to play a macro game, but now the Roaches and Ravagers are already here at the third.
Yeah, he's going to be hitting really hard here. He's got a couple more Ravagers that are going to be morphing. And the Biles can basically come down here and really interrupt this. The angling, though, is quite good for Lambo.
Yeah, Lambo with a pretty good arc right now, but that +1 Carapace doing such good work for Solar. More Biles raining down, adding a lot of DPS. Oh, a Ling's run by gets into the main base. A lot of drones falling. The mineral income heavily disrupted right now for Lambo, down to 1,800 minerals versus the 2,200 per minute for Solar, which means Solar's going to be reinforcing with even more army at a faster pace. This third base is in disarray with a delayed 3-hatch timing attack.
Man.
Solar able to pull it back from the brink, and I mean, what a recovery after going for a Ling Baneling attack at the start of the game and then in the first 2
and right-clicking on an egg.
The hatchery. Yeah. I mean, I saw that and I kind of thought, okay, well, this has to be a huge advantage for Lambo, but Solar brought it back.
Well, I think Lambo fought back pretty well, and it seemed like it was kind of even, but I don't think that Lambo was at all prepared for that attack. First of all, you shouldn't be sending Lings to counter or to hit workers like that if you know an attack like that's coming. I think he basically thought they were both going to be macroing, maybe Lambo, and I think Lambo had like a 2-drone lead or something. He thought, okay, maybe we try to start to create some chaos on the map here. Totally backfired.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were talking about how it feels like it's pretty late for a hatch-based timing attack with a +1 Carapace. You'd expect it to kind of hit a little bit faster, But that might be part of the reason why Lambo's like, oh, let's try and get some damage done with Lings. Let's try and get some scouting off, see what he's going
it's just
for.
a big armor timing attack, basically.
Yeah, I mean, that was
kind of crazy that the game started out with a Baneling Rush and ended with a Roach Ravager armor timing. That might be part of why Lambo wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, that was a very bizarre one. I doubt we're going to have any more ZBCs that look like that in this RSL.
Probably not that end like that. We might have some that, well, probably not one with Banelings clicking on eggs either, but
yeah, we
could have another cheesy ZBZ we're going to see here.
All right, game number 2 loaded in between Lambo and Solar. Solar up 1-0 in this best of 5 series. Went for some really, early aggressive play in that game number 1. Gas pull into hatchery. Fast Ling speed, fast Banelings, but just wasn't able to really convert that into anything with some miss micro. I wonder if he'll dip back to the well and try and get some more early damage done here in game number 2.
Yeah, let's see what they want to open up with here. Got a very interesting game 1 from both of those guys there.
Yeah, just a very unique game. It's kind of hard to place where either player was at just because of how unusual the early game was, especially with all the skirmishes that we had across the map, and particularly with Solar trying to set up third base, Lambo going for a third base and his getting canceled. It was very hard to place, kind of the power level of each side during that game, but we'll see what happens here in game number 2. I will say, by the way, it's been interesting to me after, Home Story Cup was the first, big tournament that we had, where there were a lot of Zerg players on the new patch, and you kind of got a taste for ZVZ and just the meta game in general.
Right.
And we saw so many early pools at Home Story Cup. I think it was both Raynor and Sero, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 11 pool or a 10 pool they kept going for, to a lot of success. And I was kind of gearing up to cast that in RSL, and we've gotten, none of them. It's been very unusual.
Yeah, I think some of that's the worker count change.
Yeah, I think people have kind of figured that out already, but it's wild to me how fast the metagames are developing, even in the mirror matchups.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's funny, we talk a lot about, patches and how they affect the game. But a lot of times I think when we talk about that, we think about the asymmetric matchups. But yeah,
yes,
it has huge implications on mirror matchups as well.
Yeah, I was mentioning this with Sturgeon when I was casting with him, that you have a couple of patches like this and a huge shakeup, going from 12 workers down to 8 workers. And for me as a StarCraft player, I start looking at the game, and especially when I'm watching pro games, I'm paying more attention to what the Protoss players are doing, because I'm just trying to figure out how to play the game myself.
I think that's anybody who's active.
Yeah.
You're kind of all right, now for the real matches. He's playing. It's an Ewok playing on.
I thought it was like a Jambay type thing, but it's a different looking instrument. It's got 3 little.
It's playing on a Halo player's helmet.
Oh, it's a Marine. Okay. Wait, is it 3? Is that 3 Marine helmets all together? He's just banging on those things?
No, it's just one big one, I think. Could be a Marauder helmet.
There's the shoulder pad. I mean, Blizzard characters always have those gigantic shoulder pads, like in Warcraft 3 and StarCraft 2.
That is the thing with
so
Blizzard
oversized.
Art.
It's such a stylistic thing. Yeah, maybe those are shoulder pads and not more helmets.
Where they try to put the body inside Tychus's suit, where it would fit. And it's just oh no, it's not structurally the bones would be all messed up.
It's like seeing an X-ray of somebody that weighs 1,000 pounds. He's just a little skeleton on the inside.
Yeah.
That's Tychus in his suit, dude.
Exactly. Okay, so we've got quick armor for Lambo here on 2 bases. Now this is super fast armor, basically armor before anything. This is armor before Ling's speed.
Yeah, this is cool.
Lambo. So he's going to be hitting when this is done.
I kind of like all the added variants that we've got in ZVZ in terms of Carapace timings. Now that Carapace is 50 gas and 50 minerals cheaper than it used to be.
Right, you can fit it in a little bit more neatly.
I hate it in PvZ, but in ZVZ I love it.
In ZVZ it's fine. Okay, so yeah, it's going to be with the Roach Warren. So Lambo going to, in some ways, a lot of the same ideas as far as the way that game ended.
Ooh.
That he lost. Oh my God, that was a crazy block.
Yeah, that was perfect there for Lambo. Lambo's powering up on 2 bases right now, not going to be going for the 3rd hatchery because his Ling speed is so late he knows he can't defend it.
Right, okay, so I'm sorry, this isn't going to be just Roaches. This is where you flood with Lings, and then you have a kind of set of Roaches in front of it.
This is so cool. Lambo's walling with double evolution chambers in the front, so Solar should have no idea there's a 3rd Evo in the main base.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the idea is like that. In some sense, that's wasteful. So he's like, "Oh, look at me! I just started my upgrades. I hope my upgrades work in minutes from now." Not.
Oh, this is so cool. Lambo also, I don't think he wants to spend all of the money on the Evolution Chamber, so he cancels it and starts it again, so he can cancel with the next round and then just flood units across the map. Oh, this is awesome. No roaches. It's going to be mass +1 Ling flooding in. And Solar, I don't think he has a Baneling nest. If he does, there's still no Banelings in production right now. It's going to be Ling versus Ling, with Lambo having a huge upgrade advantage. No wall off for Solar just yet. The Queen from the third base can't get to the natural in time.
Yeah, he's going to flood, and it's going to hit so hard here. The question now is, can Solar actually hold this? He does have a little bit of the wall in kind of helping him, but it's not enough. He's going to fall back. The Lings are going to pull through here, surrounding the Queen. The drones are pulled.
Yeah, Lambo with a little bit of a check on the greed of Solar. Roaches are going to pop in right now. Ooh, some nice hold position micro right there on the drones. It de-aggroes the Lings from them, so Solar only dropping 5 workers. I thought that might be a little bit more damage there for Lambo, but Solar, kind of reminiscent of the first series we saw with Beyond versus Shin. Just really good worker micro, mitigating damage, this time from the Zerg side of things. Solar, I feel like losing only 2 Queens and 5 drones there is huge for Solar. Lambo had so much more potential to get damage done.
Yeah, I mean, Lambo has deflected. I'm sorry, Solar has deflected here. Lambo, there was on 49 drones. The Lambo's 37. Is there going to be any opportunities here for Solar to try to fight back? He does have roaches.
Lairtech is done here for Lambo. He's starting roach speed. He's sussing out that it's likely going to be a push coming in from Solar, so Spinecrawler is going down as well. I don't think +1 range attack will be done at the beginning of the fight, but it should finish before the fighting is over.
Yeah, he's going to hit, basically when the roaches get there, he wants to start this thing up.
Will there be enough roaches here for Lambo? Upgrades are even right now.
The third base is really exposed right now. He's got to make sure that these roaches don't ever get fully surrounded.
It kind of feels like Lambo has enough to take this fight, although more Ravagers are reinforcing.
When they're bunched up like that, you really have to respect the Biles. So now he's going to be forced behind the wall in. He's going to start to try to damage the Roach Warren, because basically if he can just take that out, the only thing you can make is Lings, which aren't going to be very handy. The Biles are really punishing. This is already below half health. The Lings actually jump up to the top. Okay, I don't know what was going on with Solar's control there. It seems like he pulled them a little bit too far away. Oh my God, they're surrounded. The Biles are going to be so punishing. Is he going to be able to take this Warren out before the upgrade finishes? It looks like it's going to just barely finish.
Yeah, it's going to finish, but the next Biles will take out the Roach Warren. There was no safety Roach Warren, I think, built by Lambo, so he has to restart it right now. That's going to be a huge gap in production. Lambo can only make Lings right now.
And there's enough Roaches and Ravagers here that you're going to be pretty strong versus Lings. And you're always going to have your Lings in the front. So what you see is what you've got as far as Roach tech that has been produced and will stay in the game right now for Lambo. Lambo is going to try to fight back. The Lings are going to come down. Again, every Roach and Ravager is super valuable here. Wow. Nice target. Just pops one of those Ravagers and takes out another one that was morphing.
Yeah, that Roach speed giving a lot of flexibility for Lambo right now with a micro. He can stutter step forward with these Roaches, try and pick off Ravagers if Solar kind of lets the Ling wall fade. And so Lambo's going to be able to hold despite losing the Roach Warren. He was able to reinforce with enough Lings and have some nice Roach micro to defend it. Solar, he's droning back at home. He's starting a lair of his own. The hatch tech all-in has failed. And Lambo is up still, about 10 workers. A round of drones just finished there for Solar to try and even things up. Lambo in a very good position here in game number 2.
He's going to come down now. Good to see Lambo kind of stabilizing and surviving that. It looked like it was nearly over. And back over on Solar's side of the map, I mean, he's going to continue to try to muster what he can. He is getting missile attack upgrades here now. But yeah, I mean, Lambo, with the higher drone count, defending, getting that defender's advantage. He's basically able to get back on his feet in a little bit more of an even way here.
Yeah, and it's going to be 2-2 Roaches here for Lambo versus just the +1, or the 1-1, I should say, of Solar in a couple of minutes. So Lambo has a lot of different ways he could play this. Like you're in a position like this one where I know now the drone counts, they're kind of equalizing. I still prefer Lambo's position so much. He can go for some kind of Roach timing attack if he wanted to. He can try and transpose this into a longer macro game if he wanted to. I mean, you have a huge upgrade advantage like this, it just feels like the options are all open.
I think he's got a better runway in this game for sure. It is funny how back and forth these guys' games are, right?
Yeah, these first 2 games have been excellent ZVZ. Kind of knew it was going to be a good series coming into this one. Solar being a master of ZVZ and Lambo really hitting his stride in these recent patches. But so far, these first 2 games exceeding my expectations, with the lone exception of the 2 banelings popping on the eggs in game 1.
Right. So I think for now, Solar has to, Lambo has to stay back and basically let these upgrades finish, right? He's going to have a lot of opportunities from there to take that. He could take a 4th base as he pushes out here as well.
Lambo just finished like 6 or 7 Overlords, and I'm pretty sure in a position like that one, it doesn't mean they're going to be droning. If Lambo wanted to make drones, he wouldn't have made so many Overlords at once. He's just going to build a lot of roaches right now and get ready for the push. 2-2 seems to be the timing attack that he's going to be going for, and this is going to be a huge upgrade advantage for Solar.
Yeah, a ton of Overlords like that. I was telegraphing that I'm going to be basically taking all of those Overlords and using them to fill up my supply with attacking units. I don't want to ever have my spike in unit production decline because of supply.
Yeah, so Lambo nearly maxed out right now. Heat supply ahead of Solar. He's going to be pushing in. And again, these 2-tier roaches, there are no melee upgrades on either side. So really the units to watch out for right now, it's the Roach versus the Roach. The Lings are going to do very little. And the Ravager count, it's higher for Solar, but the numbers of Roaches here for Lambo, it is overwhelming.
He's going to come up again. And I got to say, the angling's not terrible here for Solar. The problem is these upgrades are just simply better for Lambo. Okay, Lambo's really got like a pretty sick wall of Roaches here.
What an arc.
Once this starts to fall apart on either the top or the bottom, and he can start to arc around it, yeah, here we go. Now it's going to get real ugly. Not even dodging Biles.
Yeah, Lambo instead just standing his ground right now. Some nice micro from Solar moving forward to snipe down the Ravagers. But I feel like with reinforcement streaming across here for Lambo, it should be enough. Solar for now stabilizing. Still 57 drones to 48, so Solar does have the economic edge.
Yeah,
but that was a good fight for Lambo.
It was good. I think he got the first couple blows in. The question is Solar going to be squishy enough to fall apart here? Now, the angle, again, it's really good. Good dodging on the Biles. He's not really letting those Biles do that much. He's also isolating the Ravagers here of Solar. I think Lambo has just won the game.
Yeah, the Queen's falling now at this ramp. GG is caught. Lambo's tied it up 1-1. And that was an impressive defense from Solar with just 1-1 versus the 2-2 there of Lambo. It looked a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. But those reinforcements coming in from Lambo, despite having less economy, I mean, he just pumped out so many Roaches.
Yeah. Yeah, nicely done. I mean, you know, it's that defender's advantage. You're attacking, they're hitting you. They're trying to end the game at a very specific point in time. If you don't do that, the guy that was basically invested in more stuff later on in the game is going to be in a better position. Nicely done by Lambo.
Yeah, very cool game. I especially like the really fast +1 Carapace coming in there from Lambo with double evolution chamber still in the wall in to kind of...
It was a cool opening.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, getting that armor upgrade was really nice.
I think it confused Solar quite a bit. And speaking of confusion, I'm confused why more of you haven't gone to the YouTube. Click that like button and subscribe to our channel. If you're watching live right now on Twitch or any of the other live streaming platforms that the RSL is on, and even if you don't plan on watching the VODs, please check out the YouTube. Hit that subscription. It helps us out a lot, kind of getting the word out there about the RSL, because the StarCraft 2 community on YouTube is absolutely massive, and we want more people to find out about these incredible games.
Leave a comment. I like Lambo's build too, Tasteless. Thanks, great. Me too. We're going to take a break, guys. When we come back, we're going to continue on with the series of Solar versus Lambo. We'll see you in a minute.
That's a lot of army supply that Cyril's going to have left over, so he will be able to get the cancel on Shin's side of the map as well. Cyril's third base will still be faster than his opponent's. I mean, my goodness, 3 Zerglings and 1 Baneling traded for 29 Lings. It's actually more than I thought it was. It's a better trade for Serral than I thought it was.
That's actually insane. And since he got the cancel on the hatchery on the other side as well, his third base is still going to be faster than Shin's. Shin's not even remaking his, actually. He's gone full into Roaches right now, realizing now that it's not actually a full-on counterattack from Serral. So he's going back into drones and trying to get that third base yet again. So Shin maybe overreacting a little bit to the potential counter swing that Serral could have thrown at him. And now Serral yet again gets in with the 2 Lings, scouts everything, sees the lair timing, sees the fact that there's no more units getting produced as well. So Serral knows exactly the position he's in, knows he canceled the third, knows his is faster, knows his lair is faster, and knows he's just in a great position.
I mean, Serral just has the complete picture right now, and so where is he going to go from here? He also knows, by the way, that Shin has his +1 Carapace, and so the possibility of Shin going for a 1-1 timing, I think, with Roaches is very high, and that has to be on the radar here for Serral. So you just try to build up and prepare to absorb the impact of the push that comes across the map, because, of course, Shin is capable of doing something else here, but just looking at the position, especially with such a late third hatchery, it feels like he's going to go for a push.
Yeah, absolutely. He's getting a couple extra drones, of course, just to kind of round everything out, but he is still making those Roaches pretty consistently. Serral is sharking around with his Ling squad, of course, just trying to get as much information as possible, just needs to know exactly when this army is going to try to walk its way across, if it does, from Shin. The Overseer is going to try to get a scout, sees exactly what's going on in the main base, but once again, Serral gets in with a couple of these Zerglings. We'll try to focus down a few drones, not going to be the craziest impact, but it's just pulling all the attention away from Shin. It's continuing to get scouting to know exactly how many units are coming out, so he knows what he needs to respond with.
That's some very good scouting there by Serral. And Shin, for now, is just continuing to build up. He's continuing to drone as well, so at least in this moment of the game, he's posturing pretty defensively. And Serral does have map control with a large number of Lings on such a wide open map like Old Sun Temple, with such a large distance from the bottom left corner all the way up to the top right corner. And actually, it looks like it might be Serral who's getting aggressive. He's beginning a little bit of a creep highway, but notably not starting the creep on these forward overlords where Shin would see it.
Yeah, it's very nice attention to detail from Serral, just only giving a little bit of information, of course. The Spire coming out from Shin, though, is going to be the thing that Serral needs to get a scout on, or maybe just kill him before he gets there, because it really looks like Serral is ramping up. He's got lots of Ravagers coming on in, lots of Roaches now on the production tab, then at the last second triggering the Overlords to drop the creep, so that way he can get that speed boost at the last possible second to give Shin as little reaction time as possible. So now Shin, supply blocked as well, needs to make this defense. It's a massive army supplied lead right now for Serral.
Yeah, Shin cannot afford to bank any resources up for those mutas. It all has to be about the defense here at the third base. It's 1-1 upgrades on both sides. Ravagers are here for Serral, none for Shin, so Shin has to dodge these files, whereas Serral can stand his ground, stutter step forward, not miss any time attacking into this position, and the supply for Shin is just plummeting right now.
He is ransacking the third base, and he's ransacking this series. That is a very convincing 3-0 from Serral. I feel like I've said it like 20 times right now, but I feel like it's what we've come to expect in this match particularly. Like, that was not even close, I think, in any point in any of those games.
I mean, that was just a masterclass of ZBZ. From game one to the 12-pool hidden base, just being able to figure out exactly what position he's in and start formulating the answer so quickly. It speaks volumes about what a smart player he is here and his instincts in this matchup. But then also game number 2, you know, there was a lot of pressure that came his way. That 29 drone Roach Ling attack, Serral parried that with ease. And then in game number 3, a game that looked fairly even, just the non-stop scouting with Lings checking on, the drone counts checking on, the extractor timings checking to see what units are being made and how many of them. Just everything was perfect there for Serral. It's a clean 3-0 sweep. He's going to be advancing into the upper bracket semifinals. Shin, this is the double elimination playoffs. He's not out of the tournament just yet. He will play on August 1st, but one of his 2 lives are gone now, Gemini.
Yes, that was a very rough series for Shin, unfortunately, but yeah, he does have another life, so we'll be playing against one other player, hopefully to go a little bit far.
Welcome back, guys. We're ready to go into game 3 now. It's tied up 1-1 right now. Very even.
Yeah, this has been a very close CBC series between Lambo and Solar, Game 1 and Game 2. I mean, the score is 1-1, but both games could have either gone either way as well.
Yeah, pretty interesting games.
Yeah.
Not, sometimes CBC is like really straightforward, right? Like this guy tries a timing and it works or doesn't work, but this has been a lot of back and forths.
I feel like we're going to keep seeing that as the series continues on. There's a lot of aggressive builds that are available to the players early on. And, typically in the early stages of a patch, that's the best time to try and find aggressive plays on your opponent as the game is still getting figured out. So as we get ready to move on to Old Sun Temple here for set number 3, I would expect either Solar or Lambo to try and gear up with one more aggressive opening. We'll see if that's going to happen, or if we'll have a longer, more macro-focused CBZ. As the series continues on, Solar spawning in the top right as the blue Zerg, Lambo the red Zerg in the top left.
Yeah, so, let's see if we have any other kind of crazy builds to start this off. We haven't had anybody basically go for an rut-row.
I think this is what we're seeing at Home Story Cup quite a bit.
Yeah, I think you're correct about that.
Where the goal of this is to try and take down a hatch first from the opponent, or at least a ton of drones. And it might not be a game-ending play if you move across the map with these lings and get damage done, but oftentimes, as we saw at the Home Story Cup against a hatch first, you can get enough damage done that the player going for the 10 pull is going to pull ahead economically and can usually leverage that into a win.
Yeah. Okay, so now we got to watch carefully on Lambo's side of the map. When does he get the hatchery or the pool or the gas or anything? So it's going to be hatch first. Wow.
I think this is the ideal situation here for Solar.
Yeah.
But we'll see how Lambo's defense is going to be. There's been a couple of weeks since there's a 10-pull Fiesta, there were Home Story Cup, so maybe the meta's gotten figured out a little bit more. Also, Old Sun Temple, one of the larger maps we have in the pool, so keep in mind the rush distance. It's a little bit larger from natural to
weirdly,
natural.
That might be how this ends up working out, right? Is you feel safe because it's far, and it's sort of like, well, this isn't a great build to do then, but then you might be too greedy, and it ends up working anyways.
Yeah, the Overlord
pool starts.
Pool starts for Lambo. His Overlord not yet spotting the hatchery here at the natural, but he will see the lings. And so Lambo now knows that it's going to be an early pool. What will his response be?
Yeah, so the first question is, do you keep the hatchery or do you cancel it, right? And, the earlier the rush, the more you can sometimes just give stuff up because you are so ahead in workers, right? Like right now this is a 6-worker lead. So he's going to attack up here. There's nothing. Okay, he is going to pull drones, which indicates he does want to keep the hatchery. He's not interested in sacking that. Your control with the drones has to be basically perfect here. If you miscontrol and drop too many workers, it's totally catastrophic. And so Solar fractions off some of his lings to go into the main and basically be a nuisance there. Now, anytime the drones aren't mining is a problem, right? Oh, gets a little kill on that one and runs away.
Yeah, nice snipe there for Solar. Oh, the lings only just now finishing for Lambo. These drones already very low in HP. It's going to make it harder for them to defend, but so far only 3 drones falling here for Lambo. It's not too bad. Does he have enough lings to defend? I think with a queen pumping, he should. Those drones have to get back to mining in a minute. But so far, pretty good defense here for Lambo. Only losing 3 drones.
Yeah, the lings are going to come in. I mean, Lambo's positioning was really nice there. Remember, Lambo is at 17 drones, and Solar's catching up to 14 now. Now, there was obviously periods where the drones weren't mining, right? So it wasn't like he was just accumulating better income over time. In fact, you can see, it's all illustrated here in the income advantage. But Lambo's trying to catch up. I would say, Solar's trying to catch up. I keep swapping who's rushing who here. But yeah, I think Lambo did a great job there. I think he's in perfectly okay shape.
Yeah, only losing 3 drones. I think sometimes when you see players defend a 10 pool, they might pull less drones, or they'll pull them later, or they'll go for a fight.
Yeah.
So Lambo, he might have lost a little bit extra mining time with how many drones he pulled and for such a duration that they weren't mining. But in the end, keeping those 3 drones alive, it's going to translate into what should be a sizable economic advantage. He's already up 2 workers right now. I think the injects are a little bit ahead here for Lambo. But one advantage Solar does have is the faster gas. The tech is a little bit quicker here for our blue Zerg player. And so maybe Solar can try and get a cancel on the 3rd hatchery here of Lambo.
Okay, so you scout that, you see what kind of game this is going to be. the question is always, are you trying to match them? Or are you trying to go in a direction that's going to benefit you that's very, very different, like whether that's like teching somewhere crazy or trying to do some kind of a timing attack and stop making workers. Now we have the Evo chamber coming along here for Solar. And so I assume he's just going to be going for an upgrade, and this will probably lead into a timing attack. But we don't have a third hatchery for Solar. There are 12 lings.
Yeah, Solar has made just enough drones to fully saturate the main base in the natural, and then one extra drone, I think, to build a hatchery at the Triangle expansion. And since then, it's been nothing but lings. Once speed is finished, he's likely going to reveal that he made these lings and try and get the kill on the third hatch from Lambo. And it'll be imperative that Lambo defends it, because at that point, the hatchery will be done. And losing a hatchery that's completed is obviously a lot more damaging than actually having to cancel a hatchery. So Lambo, he's now committed with the hatchery finished. It's not Solar moving across the map.
And this is going to, this is all lined up so that there was no way to cancel it. It's sometimes a risky way to play, because if your move doesn't get pulled off, then you're going to lose the game. He's not going to go for the hatchery. I'm sorry. I totally stand. I was on the same page as you.
Yeah.
I thought that this was going to be, an attack on the third base, but instead he's going to go for the Roach Warren. Now he will get the deny on the Roach Warren, which
maybe
might be part of it. So he wanted to hit that and then come down here and get the hatchery.
Yeah, maybe just the order of operations is to go for the natural and see what you can find there first, because in a position like this one, he was always going to get the third hatchery.
Yeah,
but the fact that he moved into the natural first, he got a queen, he got a Roach Warren, he forced a couple more buildings behind this, which is basically more drone kills. And the lings just keep on coming in. Oh, they're trying to shimmy their way through these roaches and the queens. They actually get a surround right there on the roaches. Solar with these lings getting huge damage done. Lambo has to pull the drones. He's mineral walking to try and get better surface area. Really good worker micro. I think maybe one drone falling there for Lambo. But when all is said and done, I mean, Solar trades like 40 Zerglings, but he gets the third base. He gets a drone. He gets roaches. He gets queens. He gets structures. It's a huge win for Solar.
That was a really, really well done maneuver by Solar there. He basically realized, okay, I am going to get the hatchery, but I need to get more damage on top of that. Like, how can I maximize this situation? And so he came in and, really forced the spending of all these extra drones to make these buildings. Still ended up getting in there after killing the hatch and doing damage. Now, over on Lambo's side of the map, 1-1's about to finish. It's easy to forget, in that big wall in where there's all these unnecessary buildings. In fact, the kind of linchpin of, the game that he's going to win is actually all in those 2 Evo chambers that are about to finish those upgrades.
And for Solar, the fact that he has 2 base saturation and then some mining from the third base at 44 drones, I think you do nothing but make roaches and lings from here. You don't even really worry about getting too many more upgrades. I think you just kind of brace for impact, expecting Lambo to try and push and get something done. And if that push doesn't come, then you as Solar go for a push of your own. I think it would be a fantastic way to play it. We'll see if Solar is going to actually commit to an attack once he spots this third base about to finish. Because this will be the opportune time. Lambo, he lost that first hatchery. He's now remade it. That's 600 minerals that has, so far, literally 0 payoff. This is the maximum deficit from that third hatchery, is this window right now before Lambo can actually mine from it. So it's a great timing to try and get damage done here as Solar if he decides to push across the map.
Okay. Lambo is going to come out with his move here. There is a counterattack of Lings way down at 6 o'clock. We haven't really looked at what Solar actually has to defend. I think we've kind of watched this almost from Lambo's position here. But
Solar's made nothing but units since 44 drones. He has just been pumping roaches, slings, and ravagers. So I think he should have enough. He spots no drones there for Lambo at the third base now. Lambo looking for a surround right now, but he sees the army of Solar. He's like, I guess I didn't fool you.
Yeah. Nicely done. Beautiful game.
Yeah, that was very well played by Solar, and I love how Solar has kept everything so simple too. He goes for the ling, ling flood. He gets the cancel. He gets the queen. He gets a Roach Warren. It's some pretty good damage. And then a lot of other players, they might have gotten fancy with that. They might have tried to go for a really fast follow-up push and overcommit. They might have been a little bit greedy going in on the drones, or maybe taking up as a spire or something. And Solar looks at it. He's like, I'm on 3 bases. I have 4 or 5 extra drones mining from the third base, so I know I have mathematically more money than Lambo's going to have. Why don't I just non-stop make units? Lambo cannot make more than me. And eventually, if he doesn't attack me, I'll attack him. Turns out Lambo did go for the attack on Solar, and Solar's army was just way bigger. It's the simplest way to win in that position.
Yeah, straightforward game, basically powered up, had enough, came through there. And we're ready for Game 4.
Yeah, it's been a very fun series so far, I must say. I like the variety of builds we've gotten so far.
Yeah, I didn't know the ZVZ was going to be this interesting.
It feels...
With this patch, the ZVZ feels very fresh, very different.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of aggressive ZVZ, especially like these early game battles with Ling Baneling or with like Ling Baneling Roach Ravager. They're just so much fun to watch. They're some of the most exciting mirror matchup battles you're ever going to get. And so the fact that we're getting a lot of that here in this series between Lambo and Solar, it is a treat. It is a privilege. I am so glad that we got it. Hopefully we'll get a game at number 5 too, because it is match point already here for Solar. Solar 1 map win away from advancing into the next round, the lower bracket quarterfinals. And Lambo, if he drops this map, he is out of the RSL.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. This is a fight for survival right now. These guys are in frankly, the worst part of the tournament. You know, when you're in the losers bracket, you've got a long road ahead to get out. And you know, it's all I think about taking it one best of 5 at a time. Trying to bring out everything that you've got against your opponent. I want to remind everybody as well, the Season 6 Finals is going to be on stage at BlizzCon. BlizzCon is going to be the biggest stage for StarCraft 2 of the year.
Yeah,
right?
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, I hopefully 2027 there are more big stages where StarCraft is on. I hope we're back in EWC. I hope we continue to have a lot of live events. But right now for these guys, that's super important to try to go and play on that stage in front of so many StarCraft 2 fans.
It's going to be huge. And I'm just really excited to have StarCraft 2 at BlizzCon again, especially on a big stage like that one with you and Artosis casting. It's going to be so much fun to watch.
It's going to be fun. I cannot wait. And by the way, I want to just put this out here while we're in a game. I know some people don't watch us when we talk on breaks, but we also, after the BlizzCon finals, have another offline finals.
Yeah?
We're going to rebrand everything next year because we were talking about offline finals, and then I managed to convince Blizzard to give us you know, this finals at BlizzCon, so now people think that's the offline finals, and I'm like, no.
It's another event. It's another event.
We got more stuff coming this year.
Yeah, I mean, more StarCraft 2. That's what everybody wants, so.
Yeah.
That would not be possible without the support from viewers like you on Patreon, so thank you for making this dream possible.
Yeah. So in this game, I mean, every time it's some kind of, you know, it's one of these two guys trying to come in here and really do some damage early on.
Yes. It's been some pretty aggressive play early on. And honestly, here in game number 4, the way the builders are shaking out, it looks like it's going to be the most passive early game we've gotten so far in this series, although...
Yeah, oh, never mind, not double gas. That's the extractor tree, excuse me. I was like, whoa, cool, 2 gases right away. Yeah, let's see what these two guys are going to do. They do seem to be very evenly matched. A lot of mind games going on early on.
Yeah, it's 2-1 in Solar's advantage right now, but Lambo could have easily, or not easily, I guess it's underselling it, but Lambo has had a fighting chance in basically all of these games. And I'm happy that we've got a really good back and forth ZVZ like this one, because in the upper bracket quarterfinals, Rogue won, I believe, 3-0 over Lambo. And you saw those games like, well, you know Lambo is much better than this. You know he can deliver a much better ZVZ.
Yeah.
And I know he only has 1 map win right now, but even in his losses, Lambo is looking really good. So I'm happy he had this showing.
Also, I feel like, you know, Rogue, even though, you know, there was periods where Rogue is like, he wins this world championship, and then next year he wins that world championship, but he's not quite in that form that he was in before. But, you know, when it comes to mirror matchups, I feel like someone like Rogue is just going to be top tier. Whenever you have someone who's been the best in the whole world, their mirror matchups never seem to fall off.
Rogue has been crazy on this patch. I think that he's just one of those players, kind of similar to Lambo, who's just so brainy and so good at figuring out things at the beginning of a new meta that he's just a step above basically everybody else. It has been such a thrill. He's going to be playing, I think, tomorrow in the upper bracket semifinals versus Hero, which should be really another stellar match. I mean, RSL Season 6, it has been stacked.
Yeah, no, it's been maybe our most exciting season yet. By the way, Lambo, all Lings, Ling speed, Baneling Nest, all gas, no breaks here. And this is going to be going up against a Solar who's 3 basing. So this is a very, very unstable position that Solar is going to be receiving this from.
It's a delayed hatchery here for Lambo. And Lings are getting revealed right now. Solar, that 3rd hatch, it's not done just yet. Does he go for the cancel, or does he try to defend it? He's only just now throwing down his Baneling nest, so there will not be Banelings in time to deal with this huge flood of Zerglings coming out from Lambo. And Solar, he even spots the Banelings morphing in. I would be surprised if he allowed this hatch to finish. Let's see. Can Solar make the defense happen?
Okay, the Lings are going to come down here. Of course, this hatchery, it's going to be very difficult to defend. And it might not be worth it to try to defend it at all. Right? I mean, it may make more sense. In fact, maybe Solar actually overextends here, trying to buy a little bit of time. I think there's no way this hatchery can be recovered. And, you know, like I was saying before, sometimes it's better to actually just give it up.
Looking at this, though, I think it might be a decision by Solar that he has to allow the hatchery to complete just to give Lambo a target that isn't the natural expansion.
Yeah,
because if Lambo
right.
pushed up into the natural, I think he might have just been able to end the game. It would have been very close. Lambo obviously couldn't possibly know that Solar did not yet have Banelings or a Baneling nest.
Yeah.
And so Solar just kind of hangs that carrot off the stick. And it's like, hey, come for this hatchery. Get the hatchery kill so I can continue to play the game and I'm not knocked out just yet. I think that's the logic here for Solar. But, I mean, still, Lambo in a very good position, getting the kill on that hatch. His third base is now done. And the fighting is continuing in front of Solar's natural expansion.
Okay, the counterattack is going to be damaging this hatch. Now, this should be defendable. But the question is, can he actually get his Lings up here in time? Okay, so he will stop that. The hatch is going to be like 40% HP. Armor upgrades are going to be even, so they're going to basically mute each other.
Cool to see how much +1 Carapace is getting played here in this series. Both players opting for this very early on at these games. This time the timing's basically identical between the two. And now that the game is quieting down a little bit, it's Lambo who's up a couple of drones, but a significant amount of army over Solar. And he's continuing to build roaches, continuing to build Banelings. This could be Lambo posturing defensively after getting the kill on Solar's third base, anticipating an attack. By the way, really good Baneling connections there by Solar. Lambo perhaps not expecting that.
Really nice.
Wow.
Solar's going to go for a dive in the main. There is an attack over at 6 o'clock as well on that hatchery. These Lings are actually doing quite a bit. There's no Banelings here to try to deny them. The Lings are going to come down here and actually hit a ton of these drones.
Oh, the bottleneck here at the natural expansion, though. Solar cannot escape with these Lings, and once these Lings get cleaned up, that's going to be a huge army deficit. Solar was able to get a lot of damage, and oh my goodness, the Lings actually do get out. The third hatchery also taking a lot of damage here. Lambo has had more army supply over the past couple of minutes, but Solar, just with pure mobility, going for this Ling composition, has been able to take down 8 drones and the third hatch. He is running circles around Lambo.
Yeah. Beautifully done. And Lambo is, I mean, he is spiraling right now. Like, he's almost completely underwater. He's going to come back here with a big counterattack, but I'm worried that Solar is just going to have enough to stop this. And there's also going to be a counterattack, which means even more damage is going to happen. This game could end almost immediately.
And the Lings get back into the main base of Lambo right now. The Queen is going to fall again. Injects will be few and far between right now. Lambo has no Queens back at home, and Solar has enough Roaches to defend. Even Solar takes his hand off the keyboard right now. Yeah. GG is called.
You saw Lambo like roll his eyes and shake his head. He's like, no, this is not happening.
Oh, I mean, that had to be a frustrating moment there for Lambo. The early game went so well for him, but in the end, you know, just being out of position in one moment, Solar with that Ling Flood just ran circles. And whenever you play Roaches like that, especially before Roach Speed is done, I mean, the Speedlings, they get into the main base, into the natural expansion, it's chaos.
Well done. I mean, Solar outplayed Lambo there. The games were fun, though. The games are very different.
Yeah. This has been some really fun ZVZ. You know, not just today, but also like in the other games we've had so far in the RSL.
We might have a lot more ZVZ in this RSL. You know, we started season 1 in an era of Protoss dominance. By the way, we've started RSL within a lot of different iterations. Sorry, I'm not speaking correctly. We've gone through a lot of different iterations of StarCraft. There's been a lot of patches, a lot of changes. But yeah, ZVZ I think has been more interesting in this version of the game than anything else.
It's good. It's good that ZVZ is interesting, at least, because we have one Terran and one Protoss remaining.
Yeah. This is there's a lot of Zergs right now. So tomorrow, guys, we're gonna have Clem and Cyril. Oh my God, it's gonna be so good. And then Hero versus Rogue.
Yeah, that very well might be like 4 of the best players in the world right now.
I know Maru isn't the appetizer.
But yeah, for sure.
No, you know what today was? Today was like they literally just brought out the cup of water.
Not even the breadsticks.
And then tomorrow, not even the breadsticks. Then tomorrow's a 12-course meal.
Yeah.
With a wine pairing, a different one for each course. Clem, Serral, Hero, Rogue. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I know that like Maru's not in this lineup, but like you basically can't choose a better 4 players in the world to play in an upper bracket semifinals like this one. It's going to be awesome as we take a step back, look at the whole Season 6 schedule. We're almost done wrapping this. It is already August. It is August 1st, so 3 days left for the online broadcast. But do not forget the RSL offline finals. Now I'm saying it. The Season 6 finals will be offline at BlizzCon, happening live there, casted by Tasteless and Artosis. It'll be such a pleasure to have StarCraft 2 back on the big stage at BlizzCon.
It's going to be so cool. We've organized for next weekend, August 8th and August 9th. Each day we're going to find out 1 player that advances.
Oh, that's a good format.
So there's things at stake on each day, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely come down and check that out. You can see the time zones, even if you're in Atlantis, even if you're, the fish people Illuminati.
There's at least one person from Atlanta that cannot read. It's very confused by this.
They're the ones controlling the balance patch, right? They're the ones in charge of the balance council. Is down there in Atlantis. Yes, laughing at us with their tridents.
Make sure you tune in. We are starting about 1 hour earlier than we did in previous seasons, right? At the RSL, 6 p.m. KST.
Yeah, 6 p.m. And it's always going to be like that. We've basically found like the rhythm for the show, I think. It takes a couple seasons. You go, okay, this we know how to do it now. Guys, get the StarCraft Tabletop Miniatures game. Did you know that Tychus is that much bigger than Raynor? Look at little Raynor over there. He's just a little guy, man.
A little guy with a big gun. Look at Tychus is so huge. He's holding a pistol.
Look at how big Tychus is.
Raynor, you can see he's clearly compensating for something with the massive size of this rifle.
Honestly, the figurines look amazing, guys. We've been down here getting them all painted out. We are looking forward to playing some games on them later on down the road here at the RSL. But they've been supporting us. And if you're a fan of StarCraft, this is like the thing to get, honestly.
Yeah, it's a proper game that you can play, too. You're like builders and stuff. Yeah. I saw some videos on it. It looks really cool. But even if you just want to collect, if you don't want to play the game, I mean, the miniatures, they look awesome.
Yeah, you could absolutely put them on the bookshelf.
For sure.
In the PC room, and they would fit there perfectly. Consider signing up for the Patreon. We are community funded, and if you decide to donate and support our cause, that money goes to the prize pool, it goes to the production, it goes to, in this case, for our big offline event at the end of the year, it goes to the production for that, which is quite expensive. We did one last year here in Seoul. And, obviously to the staff that works here. So we would love to earn your support. And we want to make this like interactive. We think our community's done a great job with the maps, so if you can sign up and support there.
I know Gemini was also very happy that Trap got voted in.
Yes.
Anyway, folks, make sure you check out tastelessthreads.com as well if you're in need of some merchandise. If you're a Patreon supporter, you get a 20% discount on all products there at tastelessthreads.com. And not only is there RSL like hoodies and mugs and stuff such like that available, but also just general gaming merch. There's like Tastosis merch. It's a cool shop.
Yeah, and on YouTube, guys, like the video. If you're watching live on YouTube, like it. We need likes, we need comments, and it's coming along. Honestly, we're continuing to grow this thing, and look, it's going to be seasons of RSL and years of RSL, and we're in this for the long term. By the way, RTS games, they do age like a fine wine, and so we hope that over the seasons and over the years we're able to continue to grow this out. But we do need your support for that. Do we have any closing thoughts?
No, I think that's it, man. Today was fun. Tomorrow's going to be even better. Clem, Serral, Hero, Rogue. You do not want to miss it. We love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.